is swung on and hit in the air to right field deep. And you can't forget about this one. Blaze Salter hits number 5, and the Newport Gulls retake the lead.
This is the Newport Gulls pregame show, live from Cardines Field in Newport, Rhode Island.
Gone! A grand slam! Drew Ludbauer, right tower power, and the Gulls walk off in the 15th inning!
Coming up, interviews, stats, standings, lineups, and a whole lot more.
Tomas steps on the back for one out, throws to first, and it is in time, a double play.
Pitch, breaking ball lifted deep to center field, and it is gone! A 2-run shot for Cody Hosey.
A high drive, left field deep. Bolzano going back, looking up. This ball is a 2-run homer. T.J. Jones hits it out.
Stay tuned. The pregame show begins now on the NECBL Broadcast Network. In his first season covering Newport Gulls baseball, here's play-by-play broadcaster Stephen Huff.
Newport readies for its matchup against the first-place Danbury Westerners here on Newport Craft Brewing and Distilling Night. How you doing, everybody? Stephen Huff getting you set for tonight's matchup between the Newport Gulls and Danbury Westerners here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. It was a tough night for Newport last night as they saw their 4-game win streak come to an end against the New Bedford Base Sox in a game that ended 9-3. Newport couldn't get it going offensively as they just strung together 5 hits, and on the pitching side of things, they saw the Base Sox score 6 times in their 8 trips to the plate. Newport will face off against Danbury, who come into this one with a 12-4 record, which is good for first in the NECBL, which obviously puts them first in the Southern Division. Last time out for Danbury, they beat the Ocean State Waves by a score of 12-11. It's the Gulls and Westerners right here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. The Gulls pregame show starts right now. Welcome back to the Gulls pregame show. It's time for the Broadcasters Roundtable. Stephen Huff joined alongside the Gulls field reporter Zach Letzin on my left and the voice of the Danbury Westerners, Jacob Kronberg, on my right. Now, Zach, I'm going to turn to you first. The Gulls, a little bit of clutch hitting lately. 5-run comeback against the Winnipesaukee Muskrats. 6-run comeback in the 9th against the Mystic Schooners. So, as we said, heroic game endings for them lately.
Yeah, well, you mentioned it, Stephen. Clutch hitting, it's been the name of the game for Newport lately, getting those wins late in games. It's going to be one of the keys if they want to take down such a great team, Danbury, red hot at the time.
Now, Danbury, as you said, red hot coming into this one with a 6-game win streak. They hold the best record in the NECBL. What are some of those keys to take down one of the best teams in the NECBL?
Well, as we've been talking about it, clutch hitting, that's certainly going to play a huge part. But you also got to look at starting pitching for Newport, and that's going to be a huge part, setting the tone early, taking an early lead, especially against a great team like Danbury.
Now, Jacob, I'm going to turn to you. Obviously, your team, the best in the league right now. You've been blessed with some good baseball, I'm sure. Great lineup for you. What's been going right for you guys recently?
It's been the offense. Usually pitching wins ball games is the thing. In our case, it's been the offense. 67 runs over the last 6 games, multiple games in double figures. You had a 16-run output against the Steeple Cats, 12 runs in one game of the doubleheader against the Bay Sox, another 12 runs last night. And you said it was clutch hitting last night against the Ocean State Waves. 6 runs over the final 2 innings to propel them to a 12-11 win to win their 6th in a row.
No one can stop you guys, so what are some of those big names, those hot bats in your guys' lineup tonight?
One of them has been Caleb Upshaw, unfortunately, is out of the lineup today after a little incident at Ocean State at home plate. He's been hitting .450 right now. He leads the NECBL. Then you have Sonny Uliana, who actually played for the Waves last year and started the rally with a solo shot last night. He has 9 hits on the year. He's only been here a part of the season. 4 of them have left the ballpark, and then the newly acquired Cam Masterman from Louisville. He just finished up at Omaha, so clearly knows how to play a little baseball.
Well, don't go anywhere. It's going to be a good one tonight between the Gulls and Westerners. The Gulls pregame show continues next here on the NECBL Broadcast Network.
Welcome back to the Gulls pregame show here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. I'm Zach Letzin, here with Gulls outfielder Brett Vosick. Brett, you've been heating up at the plate as of lately, hitting .385 last week, 4 walks to go with a home run in yesterday's game against New Bedford. What's been the key to that approach? How have you been finding more success as a plate lately?
I've just been trying to stand up a little bit taller. I actually went away from my toe tap and got a little leg kick going, starting to use my hips and my knees a little bit more. And just getting the early work with Coach Sorrow and just walking up to the plate with confidence has helped a lot.
Well, you've been an everyday guy here for the Gulls, playing 15 of their 16 games. What's been your favorite part so far about being an everyday guy here, everyday routine with the Gulls so far?
I would just say like the atmosphere of the game and just getting to hang around with the teammates, just being at the ballpark, 7-8 hours a day and just enjoying the atmosphere.
Well, even when it's looked like you guys have been down and out in some games, you guys have found ways Friday's game and Saturday's game to pull off late wins. What do you think? What's it going to take to keep that success going as the season continues here?
Just a belief in the next guy. No 1 through 9, anybody can do it. It could be anybody's day, and just trust the process and just treat every at bat with importance.
Well, thank you so much, Brett, for your time. The pregame show continues right here on the NECBL Broadcast Network.
Welcome back to the pregame show here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Nick Bell here with Isaiah Thomas. Now, Isaiah, you won national championship last week with Vanderbilt. What was that experience like?
It was a once-in-a-lifetime experience, definitely. It was just cool to be in that environment with my teammates, and it's nothing like I've ever been a part of, and it was just a special tournament.
And so you're here in Newport with a few of your teammates. What's it like having some familiar faces here? Is it making you feel more comfortable?
Definitely does add to that comfort factor. Last year I didn't have anyone, but now I'm coming in with my teammates and just going to improve the overall feel of this team, and I'm just going to feel more comfortable playing. Definitely.
And so what do you want to work on here in your time in Newport?
Just want to get more consistency at the plate. Want to get more reps, and I feel like that will help me as overall. If I get more at bats and more time in the field on a consistent basis, that'll help me overall.
And so what are you looking forward to, the most for being here in Newport?
Just experiencing everything in Newport. This is new for me. I've never been here, and I just want to experience this city, this town, and just what everything has to offer. So, yeah.
Oh, thank you, Isaiah. Enjoy your time here in Newport.
Appreciate it.
And the pregame show will continue next on the NECBL Broadcast Network.
Welcome back to the Gulls pregame show. It's time for the Coach's Corner. I'm Stephen Huff, alongside the Gulls pitching coach Greg Zackerson. And, Coach, we talked about some of the pitchers last time, and looking at this Gulls team, a huge advantage that they have is the bullpen, able to come into this any game and really close out some games. Talk a little bit about how much of an advantage the bullpen really is as a whole.
Yeah, our bullpen's been great. Truthfully, those last inning, those ninth inning comebacks have been because the bullpen has held the lead right there, giving us a chance to make a comeback. So the bullpen's been doing really good, striking out a lot of guys, not walking anybody, and we have a lot of options. A lot of those guys were starters at school, so they kind of now enjoy only have to get out there for one inning at a time. So now they're really relishing the opportunity.
One of those guys in the bullpen is Mike Sansone. Doesn't seem too intimidating on the mound, but really a great asset for you guys. Hasn't given up a run all year and has had success against who your guys are facing tonight, the Danbury Westerners. Talk about his presence on the mound and how valuable he can be coming out of the bullpen.
Well, I hope you just didn't jinx him. Because he is hot, and we saved him for the Danbury Westerners again. So he's been doing great. What he does is he gets in on righties very, very well. And, he just commands the zone. He is a little guy, but he pitches like he's a big guy. So he's doing an awesome job. He's got one of the best personalities out in the bullpen, and I think he's kind of loving the opportunity he's getting of just kind of getting in those big moments and coming up big.
Well, starting tonight is Jordan Marks. We talked actually last time he was going out to pitch on the mound, and you mentioned how he wanted to be a little bit lower in the zone to improve. Then he had 9 strikeouts out there. Is that something that he wants to repeat on the mound, work a little bit lower in the zone?
Yeah, he's trying to get down with the fastball, and then we're trying to work on that breaking ball. It's always going to be a work in progress for him, but when it gets better, you saw 9 strikeouts. He's a really good arm. He's working hard every day, always throwing. He throws every single day down there. And every time he plays catch, it throws the ball as hard as he can. So as long as he starts to locate it down the zone, he's going to be really good.
All right, thank you, Coach, and good luck out there. Gulls and Westerners coming up next here on the NECBL Broadcast Network.
Once again, here's Stephen Huff and the Newport Gulls broadcast team.
Welcome into Newport for Newport Craft Brewing and Distilling Night, where fans receive free Newport Craft stickers courtesy of Newport Craft Brewing and Distilling Company. Stephen Huff here alongside the voice of the Danbury Westerners, Jacob Kronberg, and the Newport's Gulls field reporter, Zach Letson. Thank you both for joining me for tonight's matchup between the 10-6 Newport Gulls and the 12-4 NECBL leading 12-4 Danbury Westerners. It's been a while since we've seen each other, Jacob, and Danbury since then on quite a bit of a hot streak, aren't they?
Yeah, the offense has really been clicking for the Westerners in this case. They've won 6 in a row, and they've been a streaky team all year. They kicked off the season winning their first 5. Then came a rough patch. They lost 4 of 5, and that record dropped to 6-4. Since then, they've been extremely hot, scoring double-digit runs, and the majority of their games, it's 67 runs in the last 6. So the offense has been working pretty well for the Westerners.
Well, last time out for the Gulls, they were riding a 4-game win streak, but it came to an end against New Bedford, and it was a tough game for the Base Sox, for the Gulls, against the Base Sox, as the Gulls only mustered together 5 hits on the day, and on the pitching side of things, they really couldn't slow down the Base Sox offensively. Base Sox scored 6 times when they only went to the plate 8 times, and so it's just a really tough day. Really team effort from the Base Sox all around. You got to give credit to them, but it just wasn't the Gulls' day. But on the other side of things for Danbury, a big 12-11 win, a nice comeback for them over the Ocean State Waves.
Yeah, that was an intense game last night at Old Mountain Fields. Fireworks a little early, 4th of July fireworks. Things really got kicked off with Noah Dickerson's first inning 2-run homer. That kicked off the scoring. But then things got a little intense in I think it was the 3rd or 4th inning. Caleb Upshaw ran down the catcher, John Cristino, at home plate. The bench is cleared. Nobody got hurt. No punches were thrown. It was just a little scuffle there. Things were separated. But then after that, the game got a little more intense, and offense went the Ocean State Waves' way. They ended up taking the lead 11-6 heading into the 8th inning. The Westerners went on to score 6 runs in the final 2 innings of the game and come out victorious 12-11 in a very high-scoring affair.
And so Upshaw is missing from this game, obviously, from that affair. But talk a little bit about the pitching and the reliever that came in to close out the game. What a story that was.
Yeah, so Austin Gussman, actually his first day with the Westerners was yesterday. We met him on the bus. He did his introduction that day on the way to Ocean State. He's going to attend the University of Akron next year to be a pitcher. Just finished up at Iowa Western Community College where he didn't actually pitch. He's recovering from Tommy John surgery, which all you baseball fans know at home. Seems like it happens to every pitcher nowadays, but it's a tough surgery. It takes over a year to recover from it. And he came out, and he was stellar. 2 shutout innings. Nobody reached against the left-handed guy, and he originally was only going to pitch 1 inning in that game. Once we took the lead, coach was like, we don't really have anyone hot. You're going in, finish this thing off, and he did just that.
What a story that is. We're going to have more on tonight's matchup and around the NECBL in just a minute. We're going to throw it down now for tonight's national anthem.
What so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Tonight's national anthem was sung by Kellyanne Curion, Newport Craft and Distilling employee. Of course, they are tonight's sponsor here at Cardine. Stephen Huff alongside the voice of the Danbury Westerners, Jacob Kronberg, and the field reporter of the Newport Gulls, Zach Letson. And since, Zach, you are with us here in the booth tonight, let's turn it over to you and fill us in on some of the games last night around the NECBL, or take a look around the NECBL for some of the games tonight?
Well, Steven, yesterday was a packed day around the league as you look over in the Northern Division in the Battle of the Valleys. Upper Valley taking down the Valley Blue Sox by a score of 5-0. As you mentioned, New Bedford taking down Newport, scoring runs in 6 of the 8 different innings that they hit. As we also mentioned, the Danbury Westerners using a 5-run 9th inning to take down Ocean State 12-11, pick up the NECBL leading 12th win of the season. Martha's Vineyard getting back up to 500 with an 8-8 record after taking down the Northern Division leading North Adams Steeplecats, and Vermont creating a 3-way tie in the Northern Division with a 4-1 win over the Sanford Mainers last night.
So a couple of high-action games there for you last night, including, I think the best one was probably Danbury's win, but we've already covered that at length. So looking at tonight's action, take us through Danbury's lineup.
So leading off, as per usual, is Justin Jordan, and as per usual, he's in center field. Batting second, the designated hitter tonight, Matt Zafino. He's the super utility guy for the Westerners, plays pretty much every position. He's just hitting tonight. Batting third in right field, last night's hero, Noah Dickerson. He had 4 RBIs a night ago, and in the cleanup spot, the big basher, Sonny Uliani. He's also behind the plate, batting fifth, and at first base, Vinny Bailey out of North Carolina Central University at the hot corner. Batting sixth is Nick LaRusso. Batting seventh in just his second start as a Westerner. And playing left field, Isaiah Dubon out of Sacred Heart. Batting eighth at second base, Lyndon Weaver. And to wrap it all up, the reigning NECBL Player of the Week now. Week 3, NECBL Player of the Week, Alex Bello. He's playing shortstop.
Alex Bello, I'm sure we'll talk about him to a large extent later on tonight. Facing off against the Westerners on the mound tonight for the Gulls is Jordan Marks of USC Upstate. He'll be making his 4th appearance, second start for the Gulls here tonight. Through those 3 appearances already, he has a 4.26 ERA through 12 2/3 innings pitched. He's given up 6 runs, all of them earned, off 14 hits and 5 walks while striking out 12. Now taking a look at the Gulls lineup tonight, it will be Scott Holzwasser leading things off for the Gulls. He'll be playing second base, followed by Greg Cavalieri. He'll be playing left. Then Chris Hamilton, he'll be playing first base tonight for the Gulls. Then Brett Vosick in the cleanup spot, he'll be playing right. And Justin Henry Malloy of Vanderbilt, he'll be playing third base for the Gulls. Ryan Tours of Villanova, he'll be tonight's designated hitter for Newport. And Hayden Jones of Mississippi State, he'll be in charge of the catching duties for the Gulls. In the 8th spot for the Newport lineup, it will be Zaid Walker of Michigan State. He usually plays right, but he wants a little experience in center field tonight, so that's where he will be. And then rounding out the order for the Gulls is Austin James of Missouri. He will be playing shortstop. And then, of course, who is going to be facing off against the Gulls on the mound for the Westerners?
It's 3-time Danbury Westerner Eli Oliphant. Normally a closer at Fairfield University, had a fantastic season in the spring, sporting a 1.79 earned run average. He's a starter when it comes to summer ball, though. He's going to make his 4th time through the rotation today. Last time out on Martha's Vineyard, he threw 5 innings, gave up 7 hits, 4 earned runs, walked 1, struck out 3. He's a guy who's going to rely on the defense behind him, not going to strike out too many guys, but he's also not going to walk all too many guys. He's got a 6.13 ERA this summer, so we'd like to get that down a little bit. He's thrown 14 2/3 innings, though, and he's got a 2-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. And he looks out to go out there and give the Westerners a chance at victory at 7 straight victories.
Well, taking a look at the umpires for tonight, behind home plate is Rick Elrod. And then we got Tyler Bullock and Levante Palmer in the field. And then, of course, looking at the weather for first pitch, it is a sunny 73 degrees here in Newport. And we got south-southwest wind of 10 miles per hour and 70% humidity, but still feels like 73 degrees. Beautiful day.
Jump with that humidity.
It might, carrying out a little bit, but beautiful day for baseball here in the city by the sea. Now defensively for the Gulls, taking a look at how they will stack up. Going from left to right in the outfield, Greg Cavalieri in left, then Zaid Walker and Brett Vosick, and left to right in the infield as well. Justin Henry Malloy, Austin James, Scott Holzwasser, and Chris Hamilton, with Hayden Jones behind the dish. Of course, Stephen Huff alongside Jacob Kronberg, with Zach Letson joining us here in the booth. We had a rain out. We had a scheduled game between us in Danbury, and that one was rained out, and so that's why we've had such a long time before.
And the time before that, we had some technical difficulties in Danbury. The mixer decided at game time, I'm just not going to work for you guys today. But we eventually
was
got
weird
something up there.
because we tested it
We
out.
had a
Everything
perfect
was
sound
perfect.
check. Everything was working. We go to turn on for game time. All of a sudden, nothing.
I tell you what, sometimes like in baseball, sometimes it just isn't your day.
Anything can happen.
And anything can happen. It just wasn't our day for some
It's a good
reason.
thing we play 6 times.
Exactly. We're bound to figure it out.
And we get it working. This is round number 3. Both teams have won at the opposition's home field. The Westerners won last time we were here at Cardines, and
Yep.
you guys took us down that time at Rogers Park.
Yep. It was a good outing for the Gulls. Pitching staff, Mike Sansone, had a good outing out of the bullpen for the Gulls.
Oh, he was fantastic in that game. He didn't allow a base runner.
Yeah, and that's kind of been his story out of the bullpen, and the Gulls really have been led by their bullpen, but it's kind of been the other side of things, which makes this matchup so intriguing, is Gulls been led by their pitching staff, Westerners been led by their lineup, and so that's what makes this matchup so much fun, because these two sides will collide at what they do best.
Yeah, the top 4 guys in the Westerners lineup all hitting 380 or better right now.
I mean, can you imagine? How can you construct a lineup better than that?
And you've got a couple of guys off the bench today. It's Alex Barada's day off. He's hitting 381 on the year. He was a week 3 honorable mention this week, his second time on the honor
And
roll.
he's batting ninth. Alex Bello, the guy that just won NECBL Player of the Week, is batting ninth in the lineup.
Well, we spoke about Bello last time we were here and his struggles offensively, and in this 3rd week of the season, he really picked things up. He had double-digit RBIs and double-digit hits this week, including a 5-hit performance against the Steeple Cats, where he proceeded to hit not only his first, but second home run of the season.
And we talked about Bello and how he was struggling, but even at USF, amidst some struggles there, how he did have a 9-game hit streak at one point, and so how he is capable of being a really quality batter at the plate, and we're seeing it here in this past week for the Westerners, and he deservedly so. You said a 5-for-5 effort, just on fire at the plate, deserves Player of the Week honor.
He plays a perfect second leadoff spot in the 9-hole, though, because he's quick. He's a quick shortstop. He had 4 stolen bases last week, so he's aggressive out there on the base path, so he and Justin Jordan complement each other to sandwich in that powerful offense.
Well, Justin Jordan will settle in to start things off here at Cardines. It will be Jordan Marks of USC Upstate, the starter for the Gulls, facing off against Jordan of Sacred Heart. Righty on lefty matchup for Marks on the mound. Now, of course, Danbury, a heavy analytically driven team, so they might see some righty-lefty matchups quite frequently here tonight, but also defensively for Danbury. Might see some shifting as well. So this first pitch from Marks in there for strike 1.
See, a lot of people tend to work Justin Jordan away, and he's done a really good job of going with that pitch. The majority of his hits this year have actually gone to the opposite field.
Now this, one pitch misses outside, 1-1. And so you're already seeing the first 2 pitches from Marks, working on Jordan away. Marks now looking on. Out of the windup, delivers 1-1. This one inside, catching the inside edge, 1-2.
Jordan, a guy who's not known for his power, but he displayed some signs of it in the first game of the doubleheader against New Bedford. He had his first home run of the season over the right field fence.
And this whole lineup really has power. 23 home runs in just these 16 games. This one's going to be grounded over to Holzwasser and underneath his glove and into center it goes. Jordan thinking about 2. Big round around first, but he runs back and he's aboard with an E4.
That's a tough way to start the day defensively. You're going up against a hot offense in Danbury. You get a ground ball to start the day from their leadoff batter and right under the glove. That's where the speed of Jordan comes into play, though, because Holzwasser really tried to rush that play. Probably had a little more time than he thought.
Yeah, and uncharacteristic from Holzwasser. One of the best, if not the best, defensive player for the Gulls this season. So
got to be him and Cavalieri.
Now this one's going to be flown into center. Zaid Walker going back and now twisting and turning. It's over his head, off the wall. Rounding second is Jordan, and heading into second is Zaffino. So an E4 to start the game, and then a double from Zaffino. And there's 2 runners in scoring position early for Danbury.
Matt Zaffino knows himself pretty well. We're on the bus today. Coach makes the lineup on the bus ride over. And he said, Coach, I'm feeling good today. I got my grandmother's coming to watch me. So a special shout out to Grandma Zaffino out there. She's watching him today, and he's like, I got to come show out.
Well, he did right there. And if there's anyone else watching us here tonight, feel free to email us at at Newport Gulls. Let us know how we're doing and let us know where you're watching from.
Tweet at us too.
Hey, tweet at us
Both
as well.
teams active on Twitter.
At Newport Gulls or at, what is it,
At DNB Westerners.
DNB Westerners. Let us know where you're listening from. This first pitch, big swing and a miss from Noah Dickerson.
Dickerson got the offense kick-started last night with an opposite field 2-run homer at Old Mountain Field. He didn't do too much in between that, a couple walks, a couple strikeouts. Then he came up in the bottom of the ninth and delivered the go-ahead double as well.
And I believe this is his first time playing the Newport Gulls.
It is. He was on a temp contract with the with the Brewster Whitecaps in the Cape.
Big swing and a miss, 0-2. So if he was in the Cape, obviously, I mean, if he's in the NECBL, he has a lot of talent. But if he was in the Cape as well, that just goes to prove it even more.
He just finished his freshman year at Stetson, and out of high school was actually drafted in the 17th round by the Reds. So a guy with a lot of promise. He's got a great bat. The one thing offensively is the long swing from the left-handed side.
We've seen it so far in these first two swings, but if he does make contact, as that 0-2 pitch misses up 1-2, you see the power and you see the average numbers. So far hitting .417 with the home run to his name. So the ability when he makes contact is certainly there. Now Marks looking on. Righty on lefty matchup for Marks once again.
Looking to just put a ball in play here to get that first run across.
Now this 1-2 pitch, he's going to fly this one into left and out of play. So you can see there is a Siegel in play in left field. Now Cavalieri giving chase, and it's going towards the infield. Of course, that happened quite a bit in Mystic. I don't know if you've been there yet, have you?
Yes, we've been to the Fitch High School field.
Yeah, have you had turkey and deer on the field like we had?
We did not have them on the field during the game, but we were witness to all the foul balls that are unretrievable on the right field side.
That's a treat.
We nearly broke the record. We had 28 foul balls that went in that direction.
Oh, my. Now the 1-2 pitch misses up 2-2. Yeah, down there in Groton, I believe it is, Connecticut. Yeah, I mean, you lose a bunch of foul balls because there's, I believe it's Haley Farm State Park.
Something about it affects the birds' flight pattern.
Yeah, so they can't put up nets, and so you lose a lot of foul balls. But then you have wildlife coming onto the fields. This 2-2 is going to be flown into center. Walker going back. He's underneath it for out number one. Both runners tagging the throw into James. He can't handle it, so both runners are safe, and that will score the first runner today for Danbury as they take an early 1-0 lead.
It's what the Westerners have been doing all year. They've been scoring early, and they've been scoring often. When you are able, especially on the road, this is the 10th road game of the season for the Westerners. It's only their 17th game of the year. So when you can score in the top of the first, not only does it put more pressure on the opposition, but it it gives your pitcher more confidence going out there with an early lead, and you've got a veteran guy in Eli Oliphant going out there.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about the run totals that Danbury has put up recently, and scoring early and often, you're right, helps not only just your team, but your pitcher especially moving forward. As this one's going to be grounded right back up the middle off of Marks. The run will score. Throw to first is in time for out number 2. You'll take that, though, if you're Danbury, because it scores Zafino from third.
Yeah, it's another run driven, and that's a hard hit ball by Sonny Uliana, a guy who everything he hits it very hard. He swings like a log up at the plate, a very heavy, very long bat, and that ball was laced up the middle. It seemed to got a piece of the hip of Marks.
Yeah, as now Greg Zackerson, pitching coach for the Gulls, is out to meet with Marks to make sure he's okay. He got a chunk taken out of him on that one. Might have been the hip. You also saw him touch his left arm a little bit. He's laughing about it, though, so he seems to be okay. He's going to get a couple of warm-up pitches.
He's probably thinking I should have made that play. All these guys expect to make everything remotely close to them. He looks just fine to me.
Yeah, fastball came in and looked to be over the heart of the plate, so he is good to go. So Danbury taking an early 2-0 lead over Newport here in the top of the first. Steven off alongside Jacob Kronberg. First two runners got on for the Westerners.
Aside from all the hitting, and they've racked up a lot of hits in these past couple of games, but it's been productive outs as well. You see, these last two guys did not reach base in Dickerson and Uliana, but both of them proceeded to drive in runs.
Now this first pitch to Vinny Bailey on the inside edge, 0-1.
Bailey, the Westerners' home run leader with 5. But surprising to most of his power actually comes to the opposite field. 4 of his home runs have been to center or left field this year as a left-handed bat.
A big swing and a miss from Bailey, 0-2.
Well, with that power, he's still hitting 283. Very respectable average to him. Hit 305 this spring for North Carolina Central. Now there's 0-2. Big swing and a miss for strike 3. First strikeout of the day for Marks, and that will end things here in the first, but not before Danbury scores 2. Heading into the bottom of the first, the Westerners lead the Gulls 2-0 here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Bottom of the first here at Newport as the Gulls trail the Westerners 2-0. Stephen Huff alongside the voice of the Danbury Westerners, Jacob Kronberg, and the field reporter of the Newport Gulls, Zach Letson. And it will be Eli Oliphant on the mound for the Westerners.
Yeah, the Fairfield Stag, and spending his 3rd summer with the Danbury Westerners. He was the opening night starter. The ace, the horse of this team, he goes out there and he's going to give the team a solid chance to win. Every time he goes out, they've won all 3 of his appearances this year, although no wins to his record. As that's something I've noticed a lot in the NECBL. It's tough for these starters to go deep on a pitch count and get the wins on their side.
So he'll be facing off against Scott Holzwasser, the leadoff batter for the Gulls. He takes a first pitch on the outside edge, 0-1.
You're going to see an upper 80s to maybe touching 90 fastball from Oliphant, as well as a slider, curveball, and changeup.
Holzwasser's going to dribble this one down the third base line and booting it foul. Or did he let it go foul as it kicked off the grass? Looks like it kicked off the grass and went through the legs of Uliana, the catcher.
Uliana got a little chalk from the line or dirt that
Looked
popped
like
up in his eye on
rubbing
that
his
one.
eye there. So count now 0-2. It took a weird hop though, had some weird spin to it. So Holzwasser now down in the count 0-2 to Oliphant. Now Oliphant delivers. Could be popped back into the screen. We'll go again.
Oliphant, a veteran guy who likes to mix his pitches. You'll notice from a lot of pitchers in the league who throw in the lower 90s, mid-90s, they'll live with their fastball first time through the order. Oliphant's not afraid to mix things up.
As he does mix it up here, brings out the slider, misses low and away, 1-2.
I think part of that comes from being a traditional reliever or a closer. You're going to go out there, pitch 1 or 2 innings of work.
Now the 1-2 going to be chopped down the line at third and foul off the hands of Kevin Winterroad and a goal photographer and back into fair territory, but the count remains.
Nearly a nice barehanded play down the line.
Nearly. Winterroad couldn't come away with it. I'm sure some of the Gulls bench players will have a talk to him about it. It's now the 1-2. Another nice breaking ball pitch, just missing out of the zone. 2-2.
Oliphant struggled with that put-away pitch.
Well, I think on a 1-2 count, that's a great pitch from him, though. Nearly got Holzwasser to chase, but the 2-2 now to Holzwasser. Battling at the plate, fouling that one off, so count remains. But now is where he's going to be tested with the 2-2, coming with that pitch where you're going to have that put-away pitch to put Holzwasser down if you're Oliphant, hopefully with a strikeout.
Well, he's a pitch-to-contact guy, and with Holzwasser and his bat skills, the ability to foul off those tough pitches and keep spoiling them, he's going to go until he gets a pitch he likes.
As he hits one deep into left, going back is Dubon, and he's looking up and he's underneath it for a long out number 1.
Can't hit a baseball much better than Scott Holzwasser just hit that one.
He got underneath it well and looked like it was traveling far. You mentioned now the ball's going to travel here tonight with the humidity, and it was there, but Dubon just had enough real estate to come away with that one.
The Westerners noticed that a lot last night at Old Mountain Field. It rained in that morning and even a little bit in the afternoon.
Now his first pitch to Greg Cavalieri, misses low, 1-0.
And once the precipitation stopped, the humidity rose a lot, and routine fly balls that looked to be in shallow right or center field carried all the way to the track throughout the majority of the night.
Now the 1-0 to Cavalieri, misses outside, 2-0.
Cavalieri, another guy who's turned it around, was hitting under 200 last time we were here at Cardinals Field, and that was the Gulls' leading hitter.
He is best average on the team for Newport, and he's typically hitting in the 9-hole for the Gulls. This 2-0 pitch misses inside, 3-0. He's kind of like Bello, who you said has really come on lately for the Gulls. Kind of that second leadoff guy for Newport. It's really that guy that gets the lineup moving, as then it flips over. He works his at-bats well, has worked walks well as he does here. Just that kind of spark in the lineup. First time hitting second all season, but hopefully, at least in Kevin Winterrode's mind, with working a walk here or working hits later on, can at least spark something for the middle of the lineup as Chris Hamilton is now due up for Newport.
You alluded to the analytics in the open. Here comes our first shift of the day against big, powerful Chris Hamilton.
There is no one on the third base where traditionally someone plays third base. This first pitch to Hamilton catches the bottom edge of the zone, 0-1. Bello is still at shortstop, but everyone else...
Bello's got the most range defensively, so they're going to keep him over there.
Everyone else is on the right side of the infield. It's your typical power lefty, pull lefty shift. Now runner takes off for a second. It's going to be hit against the shift into left field. And so runners are now aboard first and second for the goal.
First time the Westerners came to Cardines Field, we saw Hamilton trying to bunt a couple times against that shift. Didn't work out too well. Why don't you just hit a line drive to where the third baseman would be?
He really struggled against the shift, and I talked to him on the bus after that. Him and I sit next to each other on the bus, and he said that was the first time I've ever been shifted against, and he didn't know what to do. And he said he's never really had to bunt. It's kind of got in his head a little bit.
And if you were a 300 career guy, how many times you're bunting?
Exactly, and so he said next time I'm just going to swing.
If I could hit a ball 400 feet, I wouldn't bunt either.
Right? And so he said, I'm not going to let it get to me. I'm just going to swing. And this time he swung away, and he got a hit for it. Now Brett Vosick settles in, another lefty. That first pitch misses low, 1-0.
A lot of left-handed bats on this Skulls team.
A lot of lefties for Newport tonight. Now they aren't shifting, but that's because there is runners on first and second, so someone has to hold on at third.
See Oliphant uses changeup a lot here, trying to induce a ground ball for a potential double play.
So Oliphant looking on, delivers a 1-0. It's going to be lined back into left once again. Rounding third is Cavalieri. Dubon throwing in to third, and that will score one for the Gulls with runners on first and second. The score now 2-1. Danbury leads.
As good as the Westerners' offense has been, the pitching has struggled almost as equally. They haven't been winning games 15-0. They've been high-scoring double-digit affairs. Last night's 12-11 win. There was a 12-7 win over Newport, 16-8 over North Adams.
And the Gulls right now typically been, as of late, pulling the ball with a lot of power, but tonight not trying to do too much with it. Just especially with those pitches low and in the zone, low and away, just placing it into the other side of the field, taking the singles as they get them. It's Justin Henry Malloy now settling in at the plate. This guy that's been heating up lately. This pitch misses low and away, 1-0.
He's a talented guy. Took him a couple days later into the summer to come report for the Gulls, but he's been a spark plug offensively. He's got a lot of pop in his bat. And he doesn't swing for home runs. He's got a natural, smooth swing, and the ball just pops off of that barrel.
It really does. He doesn't have to swing for power because it's just naturally there. So this one's going to be chopped foul.
Extremely quick bat speed. You saw it on that foul ball right there, way ahead of a fastball from Oliphant.
And that's such an advantage for a hitter because then you can kind of sit back and analyze what pitch is coming in, and whether it's a fastball or a breaking ball, and then with that bat speed, take in whatever it is and hit whatever is coming at you. It's now Oliphant looking on, 1-1. Delivers a slider, misses underneath Juliana, and both runners will advance on the play, so two runners in scoring position now for Newport.
I've seen a tremendous amount of passed balls and wild pitches this summer in the NECBL. And a lot of that comes with guys not being so familiar in the starting battery, pitcher and catcher. Sure, you'll get a couple starts here or there, but most guys, when they're playing with most pitchers, when they're working with a catcher, spend every day with them. They spend a lot of time with them, spend full season after full season.
Now there's 2-1 in there for strike two. Yeah, and I noticed, especially with the Gulls, they try to put out the same pitcher with the same catcher just for nearly about every single start, just so that chemistry's there.
It's more of just a rotation between Jay Curtis and Sonny Juliana now. They used to have Cam Ceruto, that you guys saw hit a few long balls.
A few is an understatement as this 2-2's fouled off.
Ceruto finished off with 3 home runs for the Westerners.
It seemed like all 3 of them were hit against Newport if it was only 3. Because every time we saw him, he was hitting bombs.
A talented bat. He's at critical field training for the United States military at the moment. So he left at the end of about a week left in June.
you guys have filled that in with some other bats, though. I mean, 23 home runs on the season in just 16 games. That one is going to be driven into deep center. Jordan going back. He's looking up, and that ball is out of here. A 3-run home run for Justin Henry Malloy, and that will give the Gulls a 4-2 lead.
We talked about his power, just a casual hard swing there, and the ball just jumped basically a line drive into center field. That cleared that 28-foot fence, an absolute monster shot that would have kept carrying if it weren't for the trees out there in dead center.
I mean, he doesn't even have to try to swing for power, like you said. It's just naturally there in his swing with that smooth swing and a lot of bat speed to go with it. And that ball just kept carrying through the trees in center, and now the Gulls have a 2-run lead here in the bottom of the first. Now Ryan Tours is up at the plate. He lines first pitch in his at-bat back up the middle into center, and he's aboard with a 1-out single. So hitting is contagious for the Gulls right now in the first. It's 4 straight hits for the Gulls. That will bring up the lefty Hayden Jones.
Pat O'Neill's going to go out and talk to veteran pitcher Eli Oliphant, try and calm him down, settle him here. So you can't really see the bullpen. I don't expect that anyone would be stirring yet. They're going to let Oliphant go here as Justin Campbell is tossing, another left-hander who started last time we were at Cardigans Field.
He's not warming up yet, but at least getting the arm loose a little bit.
I know it was his throw day, so it could just be him throwing in the beginning of the game in case he has to come in later and warm up.
There is no change yet, obviously. They were just talking, calming him down.
Campbell's not due for any more like extended relief appearances. He's only got a few innings that they're going to throw him left on the year.
Now it will be Oliphant against Hayden Jones. Righty on lefty matchup. Jones, catcher from Mississippi State. See, wrong swing and a miss. 0-1.
It was Colton Bender behind the plate the first 2 times.
Yeah,
the
Hayden,
Gulls and Westerners met.
Hayden Jones just recently arrived to Newport earlier last week. So this is the first time Danbury has seen him. Of course, he went into deep postseason play with Mississippi State in the College World Series. As this pitch misses low, 1-1. Oliphant looking on, runner on first in Tours. Out of the stretch from the first base side of the rubber. Oliphant delivers. Pitch that catches the inside edge as Jones backing off the plate, counting out 1-2.
Hayden's got some baseball in his blood. His father was a 33rd round pick in the MLB draft back in the 90s. And his cousin actually plays at the University of Dayton with a couple Westerners, and Jay Curtis and Corey Imbriano.
They might have gave him a little bit of a scouting report. As now this 1-2 pitch joking up on the bat is Jones, and he's going to pop this one up. How to play along the left field line. Count remains.
I'm sure the guys didn't know. There's a lot of guys with the last name Jones out there.
It's very true. It's Oliphant looking on now. On the 1-2. Big swing and a miss for strike 3. First strikeout of the day for Oliphant on the mound, and now there's 2 away here in the bottom of the first.
It's a well-needed out for Oliphant on the mound, recovering after the 3-run blast by Justin Henry Malloy, followed up by a hard single by Ryan Tours.
Tours is on first for the Gulls with 2 away. Saeed Walker settles in at the plate. Righty on righty matchup for Oliphant on the mound. First pitch fastball swung on and missed. 0-1. Walker on the year, just hitting 167, but is second on the team with 10 RBI. Now on the 0-1 from Oliphant, looking over at first to Tours, now delivers. Fastball along the outside edge once again, 0-2. That's kind of been Oliphant's spot, starting to work towards the left-handed batter's box a little bit, no matter who's in there, working inside on lefties and outside on righties.
Sonny Juliana's really good about stealing a couple strikes behind the plate, too.
So he almost frames the spot there as that 0-2 misses outside, 1-2.
He hops up out of his crouched position a little earlier than you would see most, as if a guy's going to run on every play, kind of elevates his legs, you'll see. Gives himself a little bit of a better opportunity to steal those strikes.
Now the 1-2. Breaking ball misses low and away. 2-2.
That's a breaking ball where a lot of catchers are going to drop, rather, and that's why there's been a handful of passed balls past Juliana. So you get some pros and cons with doing that.
Interesting trade-off that not a lot of catchers have. Now the 2-2 going to be popped back into the screen. And is that something that do you know of if he's talked about with the coaches, or?
It's not anything he's really talked about. It's something I've picked up as he's joined the Westerners and talked about. He's very good at pitch framing and sticking a pitch on the corner. But
we've seen that evidence of that here tonight.
Both catchers, now that Ceruto's gone, have struggled a little bit with too many baseballs getting past them.
Now that 2-2 going to be ground foul along the third base line. Yeah, especially, we had a pass ball earlier while Brett Vosick was on first, advancing the second. Chris Hamilton advanced the third on the play. That was a play a lot of catchers might drop down and be able to stop, but it kind of went in between Uliana's legs. And a lot of those pitches low and away for a right-handed batter. We see Gulls catchers like Colton Bender slide over, drop to his knees, and block those. But Uliana elects to just reach over and stay in the crouch position as that ball was popped foul. Count remains.
Olivon's not getting as much movement on his pitches as you normally see tonight. Things are staying a little flatter. Usually that fastball in two-seam fashion has a little more run on it. That one stayed pretty much straight on a line. It's allowed these Gulls hitters to whether square it up or spoil the pitches.
Now that 2-2 misses low and away. Walker thought about it on the check swing. They're going to say he held back, so count now full. And it seems like when he is missing his spot, it is low and away there to right-handed batters. He's not missing by a wide margin, though, it seems, except for that spot. So now this 3-2 to Walker. Misses in the exact same spot, low and away. 4-4. Second walk of the day for Oliphant on the mound. That will put runners on first and second for the Gulls, and that will bring up the number 9 hitter in Newport's lineup, Austin James.
Command is something that was one of the strong suits of Eli Oliphant in his career at Fairfield, and he's lost a little bit of it this summer. It's something he's tried to figure out. He thinks once he gets his command back that he's used to, he'll be able to pitch at the level we're used to. He only had 10 walks the entire spring in 40 innings. He's got now 8 walks this summer in 15 innings.
Now this first pitch to James. Fastball in there, 0-1.
This is a big out. If you get Austin James, your team's only down 2. You don't have to face the order a second time in the inning. If a team bats around, that's a really tough look against any pitcher, especially a starting pitcher in inning number 1.
Righty-on-righty matchup for Oliphant. Now delivers 0-1 on the outside edge once again. Gets the 0-2.
That's a great pitch, being able to hit that outside corner. But if you can't establish the fastball or pitching inside, guys know you're going to live on that outer half of the plate, and they can just kind of throw the barrel out there. We've seen a lot of hits hit really hard tonight. The exit velocity, if we had StatCast here, would probably be through the roof on some of these.
Now this pitch going to be grounded over to Bello at short. He fields, throws to first in time for out number 3. So that will end things here in the first. But the Gulls score 4 off a 3-run home run from Justin Henry Malloy heading into the second. It's 4-2 Gulls here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Top of the second here at Cardines as the Gulls lead the Westerners 4-2. Stephen Huff alongside the voice of the Danbury Westerners, Jacob Kronberg, and the field reporter of the Newport Gulls, Zach Letson. Jordan Marks will be facing off against Nick LaRusso here for the Westerners. Third baseman for Danbury of Villanova. Hit .302 this spring. So this first pitch to LaRusso in there for strike 1.
LaRusso, a guy whose role on the team has changed mightily over the last week, as Cam Masterman finished up at Omaha from the University of Louisville. Came down. He's going to get his time at third base.
This breaking ball is going to be grounded up the middle to James at short. Throw to first in time for out number 1.
So Lusso saw his first outing of the year at first base last night against Evanston State, and he's also begun to pitch a little bit. He's a two-way guy at Villanova, so we've been able to see him on the mound, and he's been very effective in a couple innings on there as well.
I remember our last time together, us talking about, our last 2 times together, us talking about him being a two-way player, and so I've been excited to see him be on the mound, and so maybe, next 3 times together, especially maybe in the doubleheader, we might be able to see him. This big swing and a miss from Lyndon Weaver. Hits Hayden Jones with the bat on the backswing, 0-1.
LaRusso likely not to pitch in a game that he starts at third base.
Right.
Because you don't get adequate time to warm up.
But maybe, if they need arms in the doubleheader or something after
likely
that.
in the doubleheader, LaRusso will get a game at third, and Masterman will get a game at third. So you could see LaRusso in the one in which he's not an offensive starter.
Now that 0-1 misses low and inside, 1-1.
He threw 2 scoreless innings against North Adams Thursday.
Now that 1-1 misses up 2-1. 2 scoreless, so not just a two-way player, but an effective two-way player.
One of the harder throwers on the team looked, from my view, as if he was hitting at least 90, 91 miles an hour.
Now that 2-1 going to be lined over at first, past the diving Hamilton and into right field. And so Isaiah Dubon is aboard with a 1-out single.
That's his first hit of the summer, only the second game he's played. I believe only his 4th or 5th plate appearance. But he's aboard. That's got to be a nice feeling for a guy who joined midway through the year trying to play a role on a team.
A little bit of weight lifted off his shoulders. So that will bring up Lyndon Weaver, second baseman from Eastern Kentucky. Only hitting 185 so far, but he's a threat on the base paths if he gets on.
It's the Westerners' leading base stealer.
Throw behind the runner at first, not in time.
As a guy who probably plays less than 50% of the games, because Alex Barada is the normal starting second baseman, and this is a team filled with outfielders. Those are Weaver's 2 spots. To be leading the team in steals with, I believe, 7 is an impressive margin. Another guy who's already had the opportunity to hear his name called at the Major League Draft, a 40th round pick out of high school.
Now this 0-1 going to be lined foul towards the concession stands. 0-2. Looks to just nearly have missed everybody in the stands.
You get with the old school ballparks, not a lot of protection down the lines.
And not a lot of breathing room for everybody if the ball comes into play. That 0-2 misses outside, count now 1-2. Both pitchers on the mound, Marks and Oliphant, seem to be working outside heavily on batters. It's working so far to an extent, but you can be hurt, and we've seen it for both guys so far. A double from Zaffino for Danbury as that pitch misses outside, 3-1, and then Henry Malloy with the 3-run shot for the Gulls as well.
All the starters are going to be here early. They're watching BP, and the ball was jumping in batting practice. We missed the beginning of the Gulls with the bus right up here, but I was down on the field to watch the Westerners hit, and the ball was hopping out in all directions.
Now this 3-1 going to be grounded through the 5-6 hole into left, so back-to-back singles for the Westerners. Puts 2 aboard for the number 9 hitter, Alex Bello.
Player of the week, Alex Bello. Congratulations to him. He was informed just about 30 minutes before the start of this game that he received that accolade.
We talked about it at the top of the broadcast. Stellar week for him, including an outing 5 for 5 at the plate.
That game, going into that game against North Adams, Bello was hitting 162, didn't have a home run on the season, only had 2 RBIs. Went 5 for 5, 2 home runs, a double. 4 runs batted in, 4 runs scored.
Well, that's one way to break out of a slump. As he watches this first pitch drop out of the zone, 1-0.
His average raised 106 points after that game.
Wow.
And he's continued to hit fairly well since then. Double-digit hits on the week, double-digit are all of his RBIs this week.
Well, there you go. And now he's working as second leadoff hitter. And a stellar one at that as he watches this 1-0 pitch over the heart of the plate, 1-1.
He's not a guy who's built for power, and he's going to be a singles guy. So the one worry is now that he has 3 home runs in his last 3 games, if he's going to fall in love
With the home run.
With that home run swing and
That
the
does
launch
happen.
angle effect.
Right. That does happen with some guys.
His bread and butter is singles and stealing bases.
I was just going to say that as that 1-1 pitch fouled back, 1-2. We mentioned Lyndon Weaver, the guy that just got aboard first for the Westerners. 7 stolen bases, leads the team for Danbury. Alex Bello, second on the team with 6. So you got 2 guys in a row at the bottom of the lineup.
Justin Jordan has 5 at the 1 spot.
And he's right on deck for the Westerners. So 3 guys in a row that are just all threats to run if they get on base for Danbury. So this pitch swung on and missed from Bello for strike 3. That's the second out here in the inning for Danbury. Second strikeout of the day for Marks on the mound.
You hear people talk about table setters in a lineup, and the table setters for the Westerners just happen to be 8, 9, 1. Zaffino a little bit at 2, but that's where Barada normally is. So your 8, 9, 1 guys after the first inning are going to get on base, and you have the power bats of Barada, Dickerson, Uliana, Bailey, LaRussa. The list goes on and on at this rate with the way the Westerners are hitting.
Yeah, and it's similar for the goals, too, especially, that's typically their 9-1 guys. Today, that's their 1-2 guys. As that pitch misses inside for ball 1. But you look at Cavalieri for the goals. He's typically an Alex Bello or Lyndon Weaver type that sit at the bottom of the lineup, can hit for average, but really is a threat on the base pass. That's where his bread and butter is. That's the type of table setter that you're looking at. And those guys can be some of the most valuable players in that lineup. They don't hit for power, but they hit for average and can really run as that pitch is fouled out of play along the left field line.
Justin Jordan, who's up right now, has 15 runs scored on the year on 16 hits.
And you look at his numbers from the spring to 314, average for Sacred Heart, second on the team, 416 on base, best on the team, and 12 steals. So can hit for average, can get on base, and can run, and that's exactly what you want from your leadoff guy. And especially if we're talking, table setters, he's going to get around to score if he can do all that and have the guys behind him able to hit the ball well. As that 1-1 pitch misses low and in, 2-1.
He's done a good job of getting on base. We saw he reached on an error in inning number 1, but he's got 16 hits, 6 walks on the year. He's reached on a couple errors, but he's okay to play small ball. He's bunted for a couple base hits today. He's got a couple sacrifice bunts on the year. He's your prototypical leadoff hitter. He wants to do what's best for the team, and he does a great job of that.
Now this 2-1 misses inside, 3-1. Jones looked down to first, bluffing at Weaver. Top of the second here, 2 outs for Danbury at the plate as Newport leads the Westerners 4-2. Righty on lefty matchup for Marks on the mound.
If I'm Jordan, I'm looking 1 spot, 1 pitch. You've seen some erratic pitches location-wise.
Now this 3-1, big swing and a miss from Jordan. He had the green light to go, and he wanted that 1 pitch.
Ball looked up and out to me.
It might have helped out Marks just a little bit. Could have been ball 4 and loaded the bases for the Westerners, but went around, and so count now full to the Westerners leadoff man.
You have to put a ball in play here if you're Jordan. Really tough guy to double up.
Now the 3-2 runners go, and it's going to be lined into left over to Cavalieri, going to his right. Rounding third is Dubon, and he will score easily. And so a 2-out RBI single for Jordan makes this one a 1-run game.
He drives in his Sacred Heart Pioneer teammate, Isaiah Dubon. Those two, the left and center fielders for Sacred Heart, both batted over 300 this year.
So that will bring up Matt Zaffino of Hamilton College. Runners on first and second, same situation for him with 2 away.
He drove a ball straight away at Zaid Walker, which is the toughest ball to track as an outfielder.
That pitch over the heart of the plate, 0-1.
You start sprinting back. You're taught to get to a spot, but when the ball's hit right at you, you have to check every once in a while to see where it is, and you don't know whether you're going to look glove side shoulder or throwing arm shoulder, and he ended up getting twisted around, and that ball landed right up against the fence.
And it looked like for a minute he had it, but then you're right, he started getting twisted around, and then it landed over his head and was lost seemingly the whole way. That pitch missed up 1-1, and that ended up putting 2 aboard for the Westerners early on, and both coming in later on for the guys behind them, Noah Dickerson and Sonny Uliana.
Zaffino, the number 6 hitter in the NECBL right now at a .381 batting average.
Now this 1-1 swung on and missed, 1-2.
impressive numbers, but he was actually saying to me earlier during BP, he's been a little frustrated lately because he's missed some pitches.
He's missing pitches with a 381 average. Can you imagine if he wasn't?
He was over 400. He led the league at one point until Caleb Upshaw got hot for the Westerners.
Now this 1-2 going to be popped up behind the plate.
Nice job. You really strong wrists on Zaffino, able to hold up that swing a little bit and still get a piece of that breaking ball.
Of course, he's hitting 381. Had 4 doubles coming into this one. Make it 5 with his first plate appearance. But he can also be patient at the plate. 7 walks on the year, so just a really sound hitter all around. Now Marks looking on, delivers a 1-2, and catches Zaffino swinging for strike 3. And that will end things here in the top of the second. But 1 run does come around for the Westerners, making this one just a little bit closer as the Gulls lead the Westerners 4-3 here, heading into the bottom of the second on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Bottom of the second here at Newport. And there's a new pitcher on the mound for Danbury. Jacob, who is it?
Yes, Justin Campbell. The Gulls should be familiar with him. He got the start last time they were at Cardines Field. Threw 5 innings in that game, struck out 8, walked 1, gave up 3 runs on, I believe it was 8 hits and a couple walks. That was his best start of the season. He struggled last time out against the Schooners. He's got a 6.10 ERA on the year, but he's got a couple decisions. He's got a win and a loss. Picked up the win here against the Gulls. Strikes out about a batter an inning, but he's the unconventional guy. He's got that over-the-top and the sidearm delivery that all you Westerners fans know about at this point. And if you were a Gulls fan who tuned in the first time these two teams faced off this year, you know about it as well. He's a guy who's got starter potential innings if you want him. The plan wasn't to use him for another start this year, but we might see some extended relief here today.
And what I liked about him from his last time, we talked about how it could be a little worrisome about him tipping his pitches depending on the arm slot he's coming through. But he also actually mixed up his arm slotted pitches with that arm slot, which a lot of guys don't do.
Yeah, he turns 3 pitches into 5.
Yeah, which is very unique, but he does it really well.
You have a fastball, slider, curveball combination. So you see all 3 of those pitches from the overhand slot. From the sidearm slot, you're really only going to see fastball, slider, as the curve is really tough out of that direction.
It's this first pitch to Holzwasser on the outside edge for strike 1. And, I was surprised because I've seen guys come over the top with fastball and then, sidearm with whatever, other pitches they have in their arsenal. And that way they can tip pitches and it can really hurt them. But that's not the case with Campbell, as that pitch missed outside. 1-1. Now the 1-1 from Campbell. Breaking ball, curveball coming over the top that time. Drops into the zone, 1-2.
He does a great job of repeating the 2 arm slots, though. He doesn't slow his arm speed or his motion on the breaking ball versus the fastball.
So now he comes sidearm with it this time. This one missing beneath the zone. Count now 2-2. Of course,
that's the slider out of the slot there.
Now with Campbell in the game, that will close the book on Eli Oliphant, starter of the day for the Westerners, as that one tipped into the glove of Uliana, and that will send Holzwasser back into the dugout with a strikeout. First strikeout of the day for Campbell on the mound. Campbell went 1 innings pitched, gave up 4 hits, 4 runs, all of them earned, while walking 2 and striking out 1.
Yeah, not the best start for Eli Oliphant. You expect a guy like him, you may see him take a relief appearance at some point in the next couple days then, as he didn't throw all too many pitches. It's not a full start worth of time. So you may see him jump midway through the rotation with all the off days and a doubleheader coming up.
It's count now 1-0 to Cavalieri, the switch hitter from the URI. Pitch misses up and away, 2-0. Yeah, and if, some takeaways for Oliphant. I know it's not the start he wanted, but you're right, pitch count wasn't too high, and so he could get another outing soon for Danbury. But also, it's still a ball game for the Westerners. It's 4-3. It's not like they're out of this game either. So it's not, the end-all be-all for the team. It's now this pitch is swung at and missed from Cavalieri. Pitch on the outside edge of the zone.
Cavalieri, a guy whose summer ball numbers are just blowing his spring ball numbers out of the water. Hit .203 at the University of Rhode Island, where his teammates with Sonny Uliana, who's behind the dish right now.
So that breaking ball catches the bottom edge of the zone. Nice drop from Uliana there. Nice job framing the pitch. Count out 2-2.
He had 27 hits all season in the spring, already 16 here through 15, 16 games with the Gulls.
That 2-2 misses low. 3-2. And yeah, we talked about how he leads the team in average. 5 doubles on the season as well. So they're not
Switch
just
hitting
all
capabilities
singles.
as well.
He's more comfortable from the left side, but he's done it from both sides of the plate. And then he's a threat to go on the base pass as well. So now that breaking ball, swing and a miss from Cavalieri. Throw down to first is in time. So 2 straight strikeouts from Campbell on the mound to start the second.
You usually see a lot of catchers take their sweet time. Uliana's familiar with Cavalieri and his speed going down to first, who was sprinting the entire way. He went inside, took the inside route to Bailey, which makes a lot of sense with Bailey being a left-hander. The gloves on the inside of the base.
And I think Cavalieri almost wanted to beat Uliana there, just a little bit of a friendly rivalry there. But with Hamilton at the plate and 2 away, we do see the sabermetrics approach. Once again, Danbury shifting against Hamilton. Lefty on lefty matchup. Curveball dropping into the zone. 0-1.
Yeah, soccer star Chris Hamilton, who just happens to hit 295.
Yeah, not too shabby for the Stony Brook product. Now curveball comes in and hits Hamilton, and he'll trot on down to first. First hit by pitch of the day for either side. So with 2 away, there's a runner on first for the Gulls.
This becomes a big out now for Justin Campbell. You've got another lefty-lefty matchup here against Vosick. Big swing for the fence type, but guy's got a lot of pop. But if you can avoid facing Justin Henry Malloy this inning, a big, powerful right-handed bat who's going to torch left-handed pitching. We saw the moonshot he hit in inning number 1. If you can get out of it here and face Malloy to lead off an inning, you're going to feel a lot more comfortable.
Now the first pitch to Vosick. Fastball just missing outside, 1-0.
Vosick's spring and summer ball numbers nearly identical.
Same average coming into today.
261.
Yeah.
Talk about consistency.
You saw Vosick. He's able to hit for average. Is that curveball missing for ball 2? But his average is dropped every single year at Kansas, but his power numbers went up, and that was a thing, you know, he's been focusing on a little bit more throughout his years.
A guy of his build, he's
look at
6'4", 220. He's a big dude in the batter's box. I mean, he doesn't look as big this time, too, because Justin Campbell is 6'5".
He shows off some power here, flying this one into the left center gap, but tracking it well is Jordan, and he's there for out number 3. So no runs crossed for the Gulls off of no hits, and 1 hit batter as the Gulls leave 1 stranded. Heading into the third, Gulls lead the Westerners 4-3 here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Top of the third here at Cardines as the Gulls lead the Westerners 4-3. Stephen Huff alongside the voice of the Danbury Westerners, Jacob Kronberg, and the field reporter of the Newport Gulls, Zach Letzen. And since it's the top of the third, I'm going to send it over to the field reporter of the Gulls, Zach, to fill us in on what's happening around the NECBL. Zach, take it away.
Well, Stephen, another packed night in the NECBL. 1 game already final. It's the Ocean State Waves walking off with a 3-2 win over the Martha's Vineyard Sharks in game 1 of a doubleheader. That game obviously finished, and they're currently playing right now, knotted up 3-3. Winnipesaukee Muskrats taking on the Sanford Mainers, looking for win number 3, and they just might get it. 9 runs in the first inning, and they currently lead Sanford 11-0. New Bedford Bay Sox and Mystic Schooners currently tied at 2, and the Valley Blue Sox currently trailing the Vermont Mountaineers 3-1.
This first pitch to Dickerson is going to be lined over to James. He's there for out number 1.
Dickerson continues to tattoo the baseball. It's resulted in 2 outs so far today, but everything that's come off his bat the last couple of days has been hit quite hard.
Well, that one was hit sharply over to James. If you're a Danbury fan, unfortunate that it was right to James because you can't hit it much harder than that. So that one will bring up Sonny Uliana.
He'll try to hit it harder than Dickerson did.
As this one is going to be hit hard, down the line, deep into left. Cavalieri racing to the wall as it bounces off. Uliana racing to second, and he'll be in there with a stand-up double. So 2 pitches thrown for marks here in the second, and 2 sharply hit balls for the Westerners. This one resulting in a double.
Nice piece there by Uliana. He's a big-time first pitch swinger. He hit a home run last night at Ocean State on the first pitch. He looks dead red fastball. He's a fastball type of guy, and if you give it to him, he's going to barrel that ball up more times than not. 6th extra base hit of the year of his 10 hits.
So this one will bring up Vinny Bailey now as swings and misses at this first pitch. 0-1. He came into this one hitting .409, had the RBI in the first. Uliana did, now has that double. 4 home runs to his name.
Vinny Bailey up, well rested, didn't play last night against the Waves. It was LaRusso who got the start at first.
And he's the guy following Uliana at the plate now as this 0-1 to Bailey in there for strike 2. 283 average coming in today with 5 home runs. So that combo, Uliana and Bailey.
You bring in Uliana to replace Cameron Cerruto, and it's tougher for these guys when they come in the middle of the season to get acclimated, but when you have the protection of Bailey, who's been the leading home run guy for the Westerners, you're forced to pitch to Uliana.
Now there's 0-2. Chopped foul. Count remains. And you're exactly right.
It's the end of a piece of lumber. The end of that bat chipped off. It's just to the right side of the marked off area behind home plate.
As Bailey has to fetch a new one. You're right, though. Uliana, then they have to pitch to Uliana because Bailey leads the team in home runs.
And then you follow Bailey up with a guy who's a career 300 guy at Villanova, hitting .340 this summer in Nick LaRusso.
A 302 this spring for Villanova in LaRusso. .345 average coming into tonight here for Danbury this summer.
He chooses the red lumber.
Now it's the 0-2 pitch to Bailey. Missing inside, 1 and 2. And we list all these averages and these power bats for Danbury, but they all come after the 350, 381, 417, 409 at the top 4 hitters for the Westerners. And so this is a really potent lineup that the Westerners have.
Those numbers have been bolstered a little bit over this 6-game winning streak.
Oh, certainly. Is this one, too, going to be chopped foul into the dugouts?
If you're Bailey here, obviously you want to drive in Uliana, but he's not a guy gifted with tremendous speed. So it's going to take likely a ball in the gap or a real slow hit to the outfield to score him. But at worst, you need to try and pull a baseball here on the ground. Move him over to third and hope Nick LaRusso can continue the job and get him in. Obviously, you'd love to put one in the right center field gap. They've a lot of room out there with the dimensions here at Cardines Field.
Now this 1-2 popped back into the screen once again, so we'll go again.
I think if you check Bailey's spray chart, the majority of his hits do come the opposite way. He likes to drive the baseball out over there, which is tough when you got the defensive studding Greg Cavalieri in left field has made a couple star-studded plays this season.
Marks looking on the righty-lefty matchup. There's a pitch that's going to be grounded to the right side of the infield. Hamilton Fields throws a covering Marks at first for out number 2. But just as you said, at least what you want from Bailey is a ground ball to the right side, and they got that. Moving up on the plate of third is Uliana.
Now you have to hope, if you're the Westerners, that Nick LaRusso can finish up the job here. Get him on, get him over, get him in. That's what they tell you. It's an old-time expression. We were told it back when you played Little League. And it applies all the way to these top levels. These are top-tier collegiate guys.
And it's a great situation to be in because we talked about Nick LaRusso at the plate. Career 300 hitter. He's going to fly this one into left. Cavalieri going back, but he's there for out number 3. So no runs crossed for the Westerners here in the top of the third off of 1 hit. And no errors as they leave one stranded. Heading into the bottom of the third, the Gulls lead 4-3 here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Bottom of the third, 5, 6, 7 hitters due up for Newport as they lead Danbury by a score of 4-3. Stephen Huff here alongside the voice of the Danbury Westerners, Jacob Kronberg, and the field reporter of the Newport Gulls, Zach Letson, as it will be Justin Henry Malloy up at the plate for Newport. Of course, in his first plate appearance, he hit that 3-run home run for the Gulls. He watches his first pitch miss low from Campbell, 1-0.
Yeah, talk about barreling up a ball. Justin Henry Malloy got all of that pitch and sent it to straightaway center field. And it's not the longest fence in the world here at Cardines Field, but center field gets pretty deep as it jerks out.
This 1-0 pitch catches the bottom edge of the zone, 1-1. Malloy didn't agree with it. It is still 395 to dead away center, which, if you think about it, 10 feet deeper than what they saw this past weekend in the London series. 385 there, which we saw a lot of runs.
35 feet deeper than Rogers Park.
As this pitch missed outside, 2-1. Of course, that's the field out there in Danbury.
That home run would have been on the highway.
Yeah, maybe
would
past
have
the street.
cleared the parking lot behind center.
Yeah.
Because there's no trees, nothing stopping that baseball. The carry on that's got to be easy 420.
There's a big swing and a miss from Malloy on the outside edge, 2-2. Looking for another 3-run home run on that swing.
That's going to be tough unless he just wants to run around the bases 3 times after he hits it.
Well, with the power behind that swing, I think he would have the time to do so.
It's like when you used to play mat ball. You ever play mat ball in gym?
Yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
You just kept going until the third out.
Is that 2-2 misses low? Count now full.
That's the old-fashioned 3-run homer.
Yep.
Like you had an old-fashioned 3-point play in basketball.
Right. Campbell looking on now. Lefty on righty matchup for him. There's a 3-2 curveball that catches Malloy looking as it drops into the zone for strike 3. Third strikeout of the day for Campbell on the mound. First here in the third.
That big hook has been his best pitch here through an inning and a third.
I mean, Newport's had no answer for it today, and that's been something they've actually struggled with, especially this past weekend. Struggled with it against Winnipesaukee with their starter. Then Mystic had another starter out on the mound that threw a nasty curveball. His first pitch curveball once again here to Tours, and he watched it over the heart of the plate for strike
Their
one.
lack of success over this makes me think another guy we'll see out of the pen today is Tyler Penner, who's got a similar repertoire with that big hook, and then he'll try and dot a fastball.
Now another breaking ball swung on and missed from Tours, 0-2.
That's the slider. It's coming over the top. Doesn't have tremendous break like it does coming out of the sidearm slot.
Still
But his
has
slider
some
just kind of
movement.
drops. It's a little bit, just a sharper curveball more out of the top of the zone.
And that's been something, the Gulls just struggle with. They've been sitting a lot of fastball or changeup. Changeup does have some late movement, obviously, to it, as that 0-2 pitch misses low 1-2, but not the movement that you see from a curve or slider.
Yeah, you're not going to see a changeup out of Campbell. But in his fastball, in essence, works like a changeup with the way it moves when he throws it out of that sidearm slot.
Now the 1-2 from Campbell. Swung on and grounded over to first. Bailey with it and trots on over to the back for out number 2.
I mean, the big difference right now between Campbell and Oliphant has been weak contact that Campbell's been getting.
And you see evidence of it there behind the back to Bailey. I mean, he's had 3 strikeouts and then a fly out from Vosick into center.
That hiccup's the hit-by pitch on that 75-mile-per-hour curveball that hit Chris Hamilton in the lower back.
That's been the only hiccup for him so far, but other than that, really excellent outing.
If you're going to get hit by a pitch, that's the one I'm picking.
Yeah, that's the one you pick, because that one chopped foul on the first base line, 0-1. Tours was hit by a pitch like that earlier in the year, didn't even move, because he knew that was the one he wants to be hit by.
You can get in trouble for that nowadays, though.
Yeah, you really can.
If you don't
you have to make
if
an
you don't
effort.
try to make an effort out of the way, you can get called a strike.
Is this curveball? Chopped foul, 0-2. The umpire, you're absolutely right, can give you a strike for that one.
If you do it with 2 strikes, it's called strike
done.
3.
The umpire did not in that one. Tours was given first base.
And that call is more used for the fastball that kind of runs in and hits you on the forearm if you don't move your hands out when they're extended over the plate.
Now the 0-2 to Jones. He watches. Missed low and away, so kind of 1-2. Jones was victim of a strikeout his first time up.
I got to say, the battery right now for Danbury, great heads of hair. And
Yeah.
Campbell and Uliana.
This one's going to be chopped foul once again. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
The top flow game on the team.
Uliana behind the plate with the long curls.
He's got a handlebar mustache, too, and a big beard.
You just saw it on the monitor there. Campbell with, better than DeGrom flow coming out.
Old school DeGrom flow.
Old school DeGrom flow. Now this 1-2. Battling at the plate is Jones. We had a guy from Winnipesaukee come up the other day. It was on Friday, I believe. I think it was Ryan Metz. Might have been Scott Malin. Had a incredible mullet that we couldn't stop talking about on the broadcast, as that one swung on and missed from Jones for strike 3. So 3 up, 3 down for the Gulls here in the third. Heading into the fourth, Newport still leads 4-3 here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Fourth here at Cardine, Stephen Huff alongside the voice of the Danbury Westerners, Jacob Kronberg, and the field reporter of the Newport Gulls, Zach Letson. And since it is the top of the fourth, I'm going to hand it over to my broadcast partner, Jacob Kronberg. Jacob, take it away.
Appreciate it, Stephen. Thanks for having me. Here at Cardians Field in the broadcast bleachers booth. Happy to be here for the second time this year. Jordan Marks going out on the bump for his fourth inning of work. It's 4-3. The Gulls lead the Westerners. Isaiah Dubon, Lyndon Weaver, and Alex Bello, the 7, 8, 9 batters, due up this inning for Danbury, who scored at least once in each of the first 2 innings, were held up to a 0 in inning number 3. Dubon singled and scored in his first at-bat. First pitch from Marks, breaking ball taken up and out.
Yeah, Dubon only in his second game here tonight, but getting his first hit of the season, so starting to build upon that momentum.
1-0, changeup, big cut and a miss.
Marks, we've seen, we talked about it a little bit earlier, working a lot on the outside part of the plate. Can be a little bit dangerous part to work on, but a lot of his success is going to be driven from working lower in the zone.
The 1-1 fastball beats Dubon inside. So we got him on the changeup away and the fastball in, which is going to put you in a good spot as a pitcher as you have the hitter guessing now on the 1-2 count.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily have to come back into the zone, can work around the zone a little bit.
1-2 breaking ball, grounded up the middle, backhand by Holzwasser, an acrobatic throw, on target but not in time. Well, impressive to even get to that baseball.
I tell you what, Holzwasser, impressive to even get to that ball and make an effort at it. He had a diving play like that where he laid out for it, then got up and made a throw like that and actually retired a player against Mystic just a week ago.
Alex Bello, the shortstop of the Westerners, has had a couple flash the leather plays as well.
And when they pull that out, I mean, it's just unimaginable. I mean, Sports Center top 10 plays.
Lyndon Weaver steps in. He's singled in inning number 2. Also stole third. Marks checks Dubon over at first, who's got a decent-sized lead. Lifts and delivers. Weaver squares to bunt and whiffs.
Well, I tell you what, we talked about how talented average-wise and power-wise this whole lineup is. But getting Dubon on first here for the Westerners, this brings up now the table setters for Danbury, and this is still a threatening part of the lineup, especially because they had success against Marks so far. A single from Dubon, now 2 on the day for him, and a single for Weaver as well.
The 0-1 to Weaver. Slider taken low and away. You'd love for the Westerners to get one more of these next 2 guys on and turn things over. That would guarantee an at-bat for your bigger sluggers at the top of the order.
Bello's already on fire. He's guaranteed an at-bat. You have Weaver, who's going to be running if he gets on potentially. Bello has speed.
1-1 fastball taken up and out. Weaver thought about it, held up his swing. And then Justin Jordan, who has an RBI on the day, he's been on base twice.
Scored as well.
And what's nice in this situation is with Weaver and Bello, you need a true hard-hit, tailor-made double play to get these guys. Tremendous speed down the base path.
Yeah, and I think something that you said.
2-1 fastball, called strike on the inside corner.
That's important is hard hit. It really does need to be hard hit because a soft hit ball, then you have to make the play at first no matter what because you probably aren't going to be able to turn 2 with these guys' speed.
We saw it on the ground ball to Holzwasser in inning number 1 as Weaver takes a slider outside. Count moves full. That he had to rush on Justin Jordan, and that's with nobody on base. You got a little more to think about with base runners on.
And just by evidence of what he did against Dubon there, I know he didn't get the out, but you saw how excellent he can be at flashing the leather, and so rushing that play in the first, very uncharacteristic of Holzwasser. But that's just the threat of what the Danbury speed can be.
Payoff pitch to Weaver, lined back nearly into our camera behind home plate. Just missed the fastball there. He was ready for it. So he extends this at-bat. Trying to become the second Westerner on board here in the top of the 4th. It's 4-3. The Gulls lead the Westerners. Jacob Kronberg here in the booth alongside Stephen Huff. Payoff pitch number 2. Fastball. Called strike 3, and then the pickoff at first, and Dubon eliminated. So a late third strike call behind home plate on a pitch that Weaver and myself think was a little inside, but it turns into a very unconventional double play.
Yeah,
Strike him out, throw him out back at first.
Not exactly what you typically draw up, but that's been something the Gulls have been working on in game and out of game. Something Kevin Winterroad, the head coach of the Gulls, has really worked on with his catchers and talked about.
Bello flares one into right. It's going to drop in front of Vosick, and Bello's aboard. So if Dubon doesn't get thrown out there, then you have two guys in the base paths now in the top of the order.
And going back to that, pick behind the runner and Dubon, we've seen it before from Bender and Ceruto, not so much from Hayden Jones. This is only his second game behind the plate for the Gulls, but it hasn't really worked out for Newport so far in the season. So they've been working on it more behind the scenes, and now implementing it in game time, something that they're looking for, and really taking advantage of Dubon in the base paths.
Justin Jordan steps in and flies one into left field. It's going to stay up for Cavalieri to retire the side. So 2 hits, 1 runner left on for the Westerners. No runs across. We head to the home half of the 4th here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Welcome back here on the NECBL Broadcast Network alongside Stephen Huff. I'm Jacob Kronberg. Home half of the 4th here at Cardians Field in Newport, Rhode Island. It's 4-3. The Newport Gulls lead the Danbury Westerners as Justin Campbell back out on the bump for his 3rd inning of work. He came in relief after Eli Oliphant had a very tough first inning, giving up 4 runs as Zaid Walker, Michigan State Spartan, leads off. He's in center field, walked his first time up. There's that big hook from Campbell, a swing and a miss by Walker rather. The 0-1, another curveball chopped in the dirt at home plate.
Yeah, Zaid, one of those guys, hit 285 this spring for Michigan State. Now off to a slow start here, but you saw him have so much success this spring, off to that rough start. But now you're seeing him put in that work off the field and really trying to find his groove now this summer. And I think we're going to start to see him turn the corner here for Newport.
The 0-2 fastball dots the outside corner. Walker goes down looking for out number 1.
And I think it's just one of those things. Him and some of the other guys that are struggling in the lineup, at least to start, you're seeing them put in the hours off the field now because they're struggling, and so give it some time. And I think, mid-July.
What Alex Bello did. He came to early work, stayed late, hits in the cages when he's not playing in the game.
Paid off for him. And so I think mid-July it's really going to start clicking for guys like Zaid Walker and some of the other struggling bats for the Gulls.
The big hook bends in for a called strike 1 to Austin James. The Mizzou shortstop grounded out to his counterpart Bello to end inning number 1. The 0-1 nubbed foul by James. He's in an 0-2 hole. Campbell's done a good job of pumping the zone since coming in relief. Looks in for the sign from Uliana as James holds that bat over his back shoulder. Campbell lifts and delivers the 0-2. Slider. Did James go? Yes, he did. Back-to-back strikeouts to start the inning. 3 in a row for Justin Campbell as Austin James goes down on a check swing.
And how about the outing for Campbell so far? In just 2 2/3 innings pitched, he has 6 strikeouts, 3 in a row. Hasn't given up a hit yet. And sequencing pitches well. We're seeing it again with his arm slot and how he mixes that up.
That big curve grounded slowly to third. LaRusso Fields fires across the diamond. Picked out of the dirt by Bailey to retire the side. Another 1-2-3 inning for Campbell as he's retired 9 of the 10 he's faced. And the one hiccup we said was that hit by pitch. We'll be right back with the 5th inning of action here on the NECBL Broadcast Network.
The New England...
Top of the 5th from Cardians Field. Alongside Stephen Huff, I'm Jacob Kronberg. Jordan Marks out there for inning number 5. He faces Matt Zaffino, who laces one. Fair, or they're going to rule it foul. Late call from the umpires on the line drive hit from Zaffino.
That was a close call down the line. It looked, from where we're sitting, fair to me.
Looks like it hopped over the bag, but Tyler Bullock elected to have Rick Elrod make the call from behind home plate. Zafino's going to have to straighten it out a little bit if he wants to reach for the second time today. Doubled and scored in inning number 1.
Now, if you're Zafino, I mean, you made great contact there, and so that's something to build upon.
The 0-1 fastball runs in, swing and a miss. Zafino went down hacking in the 3rd inning. Rather, the 2nd inning to end that inning. As he's in an 0-2 hole here to Jordan Marks. Marks has the sign, lifts and delivers the 0-2. Breaking ball, swing over by Zafino. The throw down to first from Jones. They take the outside route for out number 1.
And so a guy for Marks that struggled somewhat in the first and even a little bit in the second, giving up 3 singles in that inning. Somewhat settling into a groove here. Still giving up, the sporadic hit here and there, but finding himself a way to give up 2 strikeouts in the past couple of innings and limiting the damage after a little bit of a rough start, finding some rhythm out there on the mound.
What's impressed me is that he comes out of the same location with the ball every time, and that curveball just drops off at the end, as Noah Dickerson trickles 1 foul.
And he is taller on the mound, and that's something a lot of guys with bigger stature struggle with, is the repetition of their mechanics.
Well, there's so much more body to move around.
Right. And so that's something that he's really worked on, but we talked to Greg Zackerson before the game.
Dickerson takes a fastball low and in.
And what they love about Jordan Marks, and what I noticed about him too, first 2 days I met him, he's working every single day. I mean, he might be the hardest working guy on this team. He's throwing every day. He's repeating his mechanics every day, and there's no wonder that those mechanics are exactly the same with every single throw.
Dickerson takes another fastball low and in. And he's improved throughout the season on when he's missing. He's now missing low as opposed to missing over the plate, which he struggled with to start the summer.
And it's interesting, even as he fatigues as the game goes on.
Change up, lays beneath the knees. 3-1 count now.
A lot of righties miss up and away as they fatigue. That they just mentally aren't as there, and they release a little bit higher or a little bit earlier, and so the ball tails up and away.
The 3-1 to Dickerson, fastball low. And he's aboard with 1 away here in the 5th.
But if you look at where Jordan is missing here, it's all low. And even as he gets more tired throughout the game, that's where you want to miss if you're Marks, because you're not going to get hurt as much.
The pitch to Zafino that he's scorched. Fastball up. Sonny Uliana, a bit of an anomaly. He loves and mashes the low ball. He's got kind of a golf swing.
And you're going to run into those guys every now and then. But for the most part, 7, 8 guys in the lineup, you're going to want to pitch low, because that's where you're going to create those weak contacts or ground balls and trust your infield on.
So Uliana lined one off of Marks in at bat number 1 and doubled off the wall and left in at bat number 2 as he swings over a breaking ball. First strike 1, 2 hard hit balls off the bat for him, but that's been the per usual in his stint with the Westerners.
I remember one story about Marks and his work ethic that I noticed on the second game of the season.
Changeup cut on and missed.
He pitched opening night against Mystic, and then the next day we were on the road at Keene, and we got to Keene 30, 40 minutes ahead of schedule. And Coach was a little bit surprised, but that happens early in the season. We're still figuring out the bus schedule. And he says, okay, everyone just hang out on the bus. I don't know what to do.
This one in the dirt goes to the 5 hole of Jones, and Dickerson moves up 90 feet into scoring position.
And so everyone was just hanging out on the bus. Guys are still getting to know each other, but messing around and having a good time. Jordan, after about 5-10 minutes, stands up and says, Coach, can I go to the field? I want to start throwing, even though he just pitched the day before. And so that goes to show his work ethic and his attitude. Even though everyone was having a good time, and he was too, he still wanted to put that extra work in and not take any days off.
1-2 to Uliana. Flicked foul into the street behind Guardians Field. We haven't mentioned that yet in this broadcast. Guardians Field in the middle of downtown Newport.
Yeah, I mean, everything is built around this field, it seems. Downtown Newport, just past Guardians. We have the bay behind home plate here as well.
Beautiful area, beautiful night. The 1-2 to Uliana, cranked foul. Out of play at home run distance. So he was way ahead on the changeup, and that's been the approach that Marks has taken since these first two at-bats in slowing things up, throwing breaking balls to Uliana. As you see the graphic where Guardians Field is located in retrospect to downtown Newport. Another 1-2 to Uliana. Fastball at the eyes. He lays off. I like that 1-2 pitch, though.
Yeah, it's a great 1-2 pitch. It's a pitcher's pitch. Fastball up. It looks good in the eyes of Uliana. You might get him to chase at that pitch, want to take a yard, but it's a pitch that probably Uliana won't be able to catch up to. But smart from Uliana to lay off.
Now, you would need a tomahawk chop on that
right.
one.
So now Mark's probably going to have to come a little bit closer to the zone.
The 2-2, another one skied into the left, and another one with home run distance foul.
Back towards the bus stop it goes, but if your Mark's on the mound, what do you come back with? Because Uliana,
you bounce a pitch.
I think
you bounce a curveball right here. He's looking for that low pitch.
You're going to have to throw something in the dirt because he's gotten everything over the plate and he's timing you up well.
These hitters are too good. He's not going to miss the third time around. He's jumped early on those last two pitches. Marks checks Dickerson, and Uliana skies one behind home plate. Jones tosses his mask, drifts back into fair play to make the grab, and Uliana a little frustrated with that one.
I tell you what Marks did a little bit differently than what he did on the other pitches. He worked way more inside on that pitch than the other ones. The other ones were a little bit more out in the plate, over the plate. And that one coming a little bit more in on the hands of Uliana made him a little bit more uncomfortable, causing him to pop it straight up because Uliana hyper-aggressive at the plate. And if he can get the barrel on the ball, there you saw it in the power in the foul balls, the two that he cranked in foul territory.
He put on a show in BP today. He was putting them in the first pitch he saw all day in batting practice. He put in that tree in left center field.
Those balls are out of here. You're going to have to go buy new ones for batting practice. And so nice job from Mark still recognizing that he's going to be aggressive and working inside.
Vinny Bailey steps in. First pitch changeup on the outside corner for a called strike. It's going to be up to the North Carolina Central first baseman to try and tie the game here in the fifth. Dickerson still out there on second base. James creeps a little closer to hold him on. Gets the left-handed bat in Bailey. The 0-1 fastball runs in. Evens up the count.
Bailey back out there with that cherry bat after he broke his last one in his last plate appearance.
Bailey, a guy with good pop.
Seems like he's due for a hit at this rate.
He had a couple tough games in the second game against New Bedford. Didn't play last time out. As that fastball just catches the outside corner. He's 0 for 2 today, and that's with a strikeout and a soft ground out to first. As see the Seagulls still strolling in the outfield. The live mascot.
We have goalie and goalie junior here, but every now and then
goalie the third.
Goalie the third, the live ones.
1-2, breaking ball stays up. Bailey kicks some dirt around, knocks off his cleats. Tries to regroup here. Looking for a base hit to drive in Dickerson, who was thrown out trying to score from second on a single against the Waves last night. Opted to not run into the catcher. As Mark steps off, appears as if maybe some pollen flew into his eye. Adjusts his hat and steps back on to toe the rubber. 4-3. The Gulls lead the Westerners here in the top of the fifth at Guardians Field. Jacob Kronberg alongside Stephen Huff. Dickerson dancing off second. The 2-2 to Bailey. Swing and miss, strike three to retire the side. So Jordan Marks has been more than good in these last three innings after a tough start, to say the least. 4-3, we head to the bottom of the fifth. Welcome back live on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Jacob Kronberg alongside Stephen Huff. That's our third pitcher of the afternoon for the Westerners checking in. We've mentioned Danbury has the leading hitter in the NECBL. We also got Christian Allegretti, the leader in wins, 4-0 on the season out of the bullpen. He's got a 2.61 earned run average and just 10 1/3 innings pitched, so he's snuck a couple wins in there. Got the win in game one against New Bedford in the doubleheader on Saturday. So he comes in relief, likely for a multiple inning effort as Justin Campbell took over for Oliphant and got through three stellar innings. No hits, no runs, no walks, just the hit batter, 6 strikeouts.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you wanted from Justin Campbell coming out of the pen after, not exactly the start you wanted from Oliphant on the mound, who was the starter from the Westerners, but Campbell coming in, as you said, 3 innings pitched, didn't give up a hit. The only base runner they had was the hit by hit batter in Chris Hamilton. I mean, 6 strikeouts. He looked flawless, striking out, 3 in a row, tailing from the bottom of the 3rd into the 4th. And now handing it over to Allegretti, who, as you said, leads the league in wins. So exactly what you want if you're the Westerners.
He's a breaking ball heavy pitcher, slider, curveball. Fastball change as well as the first pitch. Fastball up to Greg Cavalier, who's walked and struck out, scored a run on that Justin Henry Malloy 3-run bomb. Almost offers at the fastball up. Instead goes ahead in the count 2-0. Allegretti works quickly on the mound. The 2-0 to Cavalieri. Another fastball up and out. The Achilles heel of Allegretti is the command. Didn't walk too many guys in the spring, but he walks almost a batter an inning this summer. 3-0 pitch, and it's a 4-pitch walk, the second 4-pitch walk to Greg Cavalieri today.
And that's something that the Gulls, are comfortable with at the plate. If pitchers can't find the zone, they're not going to help them. They are more than willing to be patient at the plate, take their free bases, and then when he can somewhat find the zone, that's when they'll start swinging at the plate. But as long as the free bases are out there, they will take them.
The Westerners swing LaRusso around to the right side of the infield for the shift on Chris Hamilton, who's walked in and was hit by a pitch. First pitch slider from Allegretti on the inside corner for a called strike. Cavalieri definitely a threat to run over at first base. Got a decent sized lead. The 0-1 from Allegretti, chopped foul into the Westerners dugout. We've got the hockey-style dugouts here at Cardigans Field, so the Gulls and the Westerners get to be good friends today on the first base side.
Yes, sir. Guy at the plate in Chris Hamilton struggled against lefties early on in the season, now hitting .300 against lefties, including 2 doubles, so starting to find a rhythm against lefties on the mound.
Allegretti throws over, Cavalieri back in standing.
You mentioned earlier how they started using the shift against him, and especially with lefties on the mound.
Cavalieri takes off as Hamilton skies one into shallow left field. Dubon in, makes the grab as Cavalieri retreats to first. We saw Chris Hamilton actually have a golden sombrero against the Westerners earlier in the season. He went 0 for 5 in that game, and the one time he put the ball in play was a deep fly ball against a right-handed pitcher. Struck out heavily against left-handed arms.
Yeah, especially against lefties that he struggled. But since then, he's starting to figure it out against lefties with that .300 average, although he flew out there.
Another lefty in Brett Vosick.
Another guy hitting .286, so another respectable average against lefties. He's a guy that's starting to heat up at the plate. 2 home runs recently.
Slide step from Allegretti, fastball dots the outside corner.
Including one last night. 9-3 ball game against New Bedford, lost for the Gulls, but a 2-run home run in the 9th inning for Vosick, one of the silver linings for the Gulls from that game.
The 0-1 fastball up at the letters. Allegretti's gone to the slide step after seeing Cavalieri take off on the final pitch to Hamilton. You'd expect him to run at some point in this at-bat as well. Stay out of a potential double play as Allegretti throws over. Cavalieri is so good at timing pitchers that he doesn't have to take a tremendously. Just a short lead, keeps his hand on his knees.
It doesn't look like he's going to run, but he can at any moment.
And Allegretti fires over to first again. A guy who has 2, 3, 4 different variations of a pickoff move. He'll use over there, some of them where he lifts his leg and steps, some where he just steps off behind the mound. Another slide step, slider in the zone for strike 2, 1-2 count now to Vosick, who flew out to deep left center field that Justin Jordan tracked down last time up. Deep breath from Allegretti. Cavalieri hops off first. The 1-2 popped in the air on the third base side. LaRusso gives it a look, gets out of play.
Vosick seems like that natural pull lefty hitter, right? Especially with his frame and that home run last night, if you were watching the New Bedford broadcast with us. Pulled that one to deep right. but he's not afraid to put it into left field. We saw evidence of that in the first inning, especially with 2 strikes. Just a guy that wants to put it in play, a guy that can hit for average and just will anything to put the ball, put some bat on the ball, and hit for contact if need be.
And he's really learned to spread the field as Allegretti's curveball misses low. Count evens up on Vosick. He started the offense for the Gulls tonight with that RBI single into left that scored Cavalieri. Who leads off first. Allegretti stares him down. Cavalieri takes off. This one roped into right center field. Back at the wall, off the top of the wall. Cavalieri is going to score easily. Vosick's going to stop at second as the Gulls extend their lead. 5-3 now over the Westerners. And we talked about Vosick's home run last night. That one nearly left the yard. If it's not for the 28-foot fence, that ball is way out of here.
Yeah, it had a shot. He saw a pitch he liked, and he was able to pull it down the line and right just over the heart of the plate, and he got the barrel to the ball. And you're right, just at the top of the fence, off of the purple sign over there. And he's over there. Coach Sorrell, the hitting coach for the Gulls, said, I asked him about the lefty pole hitters and said, what do you tell them? Because a lot of their eyes pop out of their heads when they see the dimensions of this field. And he said, it's tough because a lot of them want to hit for power, but I tell them, listen, take your doubles in this park because they will swing for the fence, and a lot of them have raw power like Vosick or Tours on deck. Take your doubles here and be okay with it.
First pitch slider low and into Malloy, and then a fastball off the plate. Yeah, Vosick gave that ball a ride. Can't hit a ball much better than that.
I mean,
skied that one. Malloy swings over and misses on a fastball as Juliana goes out to talk to Allegretti, as probably telling him that ball had way too much plate on the power bat of Malloy.
Yeah, Malloy, a guy that we saw the power from earlier, but like you said earlier, a guy that doesn't need to hit for power, just a smooth swing that can just hit for average. Just one of the smarter hitters on the team for the Gulls. 345 average coming into tonight, but can work walks
It's not a ferocious swing. Like Vosick has a bit of a ferocious cut as a lefty. This just appears to be like Malloy's normal swing. The 2-1, fastball up and out to the Vanderbilt Commodore. It's 5-3. The Gulls lead the Westerners here in the home half of the 5th inning. Allegretti looks in for the sign. Weaver holds Vosick on at second, and Allegretti steps off.
And something Malloy has been working on. He's been one of those guys, just like Zaid Walker, that's been taking the time in the cages, off the field, to really put in some extra effort to up his average, up his power, and it's been showing recently.
He's done it since high school when he was a third-team perfect game All-American. Allegretti checks Vosick, lifts and delivers the 3-1, slider low and in. And Justin Henry Malloy is aboard.
And, of course, that's the patience at the plate I'm talking about. Team leader is Austin James and Vosick with 9 walks. That's Malloy's 8th on the season. And, of course, he joined the team late, so that goes to show just how all-around of a hitter he really is.
Got a feeling he'll have a few intentional passes by the end of the year, too.
I'm sure, especially as he creeps up in the lineup, as he shows off a little bit more of that average and power.
Ryan Tours, who had some heroics for the Gulls in 2 of their 3 most recent games, takes a slider that drops in for a called strike.
Yeah, he had the walk-off against Winnipesaukee here at Cardines. Next night had an off night, but they pinch hit him in the 9th, and he hit the 2-run home run in the top of the 9th.
This slider grounded foul on the right field line.
So going into the New Bedford game, his last 2 swings at the plate were home runs for Newport that gave the Gulls their last 2 victories.
It's a good thing for Allegretti it's not the 9th inning right now, or he hopes so.
I know, that's starting to be Tours' little thing at the plate, little a niche, if you will.
2 runners on, 0-1 count to Tours.
And he's a guy that fastball can ride up on him a little bit, and that's when he starts to use his raw power to hit away. But changeup, if you give him a changeup, that's when he can really pull it the other way, or pull it down the line for some serious power.
Allegretti looks in, swing and a miss. Strike 3, down goes Tours. Scoreboard was a strike behind there for those of you who were watching that direction. Tours goes down hacking for out number 2. As Hayden Jones, the backstop, walks to the plate. Another left-handed bat. He's yet to put the bat on the ball tonight against the Westerners. He struck out once against Eli Oliphant and once against Justin Campbell. He faces his 3rd pitcher and 3 at-bats here in Christian Allegretti out of St. Thomas Aquinas College. Allegretti shakes off Juliana. Shakes off again, they agree. Bello in the back pocket of Vosick. He backs up. First pitch to Jones. Fastball low and in. Jones was the backup catcher for the Bulldogs at Mississippi State this year. Hit 1 home run. Drove in 5 in his 11 hits. Allegretti checks Vosick. Delivers a slider. And nicks the inside corner. 1-1 to Jones.
Expected to get more playing time this upcoming season, but you can just see in his presence at the plate when he does make contact, a lot of natural power and just a good all-around swing from Jones.
Only a rising sophomore as he fouls the 1-1 back into the screen. He got playing time at a top-notch program as a true freshman.
Yeah.
So you've got to expect for years to come he's gradually going to play more and more and get into that dangerous lineup they have down there in Mississippi State. Vosick on second, Malloy on first. The 1-2 drops in, a called strike 3, a hat trick for Hayden Jones as we're through 5, but the Gulls get another run across thanks to an RBI double from Brett Vosick, who has 2 runs batted in on the day now. The Gulls lead by 2. We head to the top of the 6th here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Welcome back on the NECBL Broadcast Network, top of the 6th here in Newport, Rhode Island. The Gulls lead the Westerners 5-3 alongside Stephen Huff. The voice of the Newport Gulls, I'm Jacob Kronberg. First call to the pen on the day. For Newport, it's the lefty Michael Sansone. What are we going to see out of him on the bump?
Yeah, southpaw from Fairfield. On the season, it's going to be his 6th appearance for the Gulls. Still has a 0 ERA for Newport. He has 10 1/3 innings pitched. He hasn't given up a run. He's given up just 3 hits. Still hasn't walked anybody and has 15 strikeouts in those 10 1/3 innings pitched. Has a really good fastball, really good slider to go with it. But what I love most about Sansone, and we're going to see it early and often probably, isn't afraid to work inside on batters, especially righties.
First pitch to LaRusso, flared in foul territory. Going to make his way out of play into the stands.
I think what sets Sansone apart from a lot of pitchers, I mean, look at him on the mound. Not that intimidating, not a tall guy, doesn't seem to have overpowering stuff. He does have good arsenal of pitches, and his stuff is good, but that ability to work inside on batters, and he has the confidence to go along with it, really sets him apart.
The 0-1 to LaRusso, fastball low, and then Sansone carved up the Westerners almost 2 full times through. Last time they faced at Rogers Park, I believe he didn't give up a hit in his 4 innings.
Yeah, did not give up a hit, went 4 innings pitched, didn't walk anybody, and he had 8 strikeouts in those 4 innings.
Not a bad combination to set your team up for a victory as LaRusso took the fastball in. Count moves to 2-1.
When you think about the difference of what can be a hit,
LaRusso laces one in the 5.5 hole. He's aboard to start the 6th, brings up Isaiah Dubon, who's 2 for 2 on the evening.
What can be the difference between a hit and not a hit? Strong contact, weak contact, or a ball and a strike. It could be an 1/8 of an inch. I mean, it could be really that small. And so when a coach says make an adjustment, or here's the adjustment you can make, it could be a fraction of an adjustment. And so when you're talking that small of an adjustment, a lot of times what matters most is just the confidence to stick with what you're going. And so when you're working inside on batters, that confidence is key, and Sansone has that confidence.
Fastball off the plate from Sansone to Isaiah Dubon.
And so we saw Sansone against Danbury miss inside on a guy and actually hit him. And so the Westerners got a guy aboard first in that appearance. But Sansone wasn't afraid to go back and work inside on batters because he doesn't lack any confidence on the mound.
Another fastball out, 2-0 to Dubon, who's got a tougher matchup here in Sansone, the lefty-lefty. Sansone has a big high leg kick, as you guys who are watching at home can see, and kind of just rifles that ball in from the left-handed slot.
And that leg kick, especially with the white pants, hides the ball a little bit more. So it's a little bit harder to pick up, especially for lefties on at the dish. And Dubon takes a little bit longer to see where the ball's coming from.
He's done a good job taking first 3 pitches out of the zone. Likely has the take sign here with LaRusso on first, nobody out. Drops a breaking ball in on the 3-0.
That's a slider that's going to be coming from Sansone. Really one of his go-to pitches, especially a punch-out pitch.
Likely why he threw it in a almost a free strike situation. There's a short lead for LaRusso. Sansone lifts and delivers. And Dubon pops an outside fastball out of play. Count's going to run full.
It's going to be interesting because it is a full count, so Sansone's going to have to be aggressive, but to see what his go-to pitch is here, the one that he's most comfortable with. I know.
We thinking slider away or fastball?
It's going to be interesting because in past it's been the slider, but who knows today because the control hasn't been as excellent.
Payoff pitch looks like the fastball missed low.
It was the fastball, missed a little bit low. So uncharacteristic so far start for Sansone in his first inning of relief. A single given up from against LaRusso, and now a walk to Dubon.
Dubon's been on base all 3 times. He was picked off at first. Last time he reached after Lyndon Weaver. Went down looking.
And so Sansone doesn't really work inside on lefties as much. It's the righties that he'll go in on the hands of.
Likely a bunt situation as the corners creep in for the Gulls. Hamilton halfway in a home plate. And Weaver squares.
What an excellent bunt.
I believe it hit off his shoulder.
It did, and that's why it was so flawlessly down the third base line as he comes back down.
Skipped up into his shoulder
I
and just
mean,
kind of.
If that Kevin Winterroad is arguing that he was out of the batter's box and he should be out.
I believe if he's out of the batter's box, the ball's not going to go down the third base side.
Well, I mean, I hear you, and I am with you.
So we take a look at the replay here.
He's still in the batter's box.
He's in the batter's box. That ball is coming in 90 miles an hour.
He's still in the batter's box.
Lyndon Weaver's quick. His first step is not that quick. He's not running 90.
Leads the team in steals, but you're right, not that quick.
As he's behind 0-1. He tried to lay down a bunt last time, too, was unsuccessful. Then went to swinging as Hamilton charging heavy and early. As Weaver takes a fastball down the heart of the plate.
Hamilton charging in like that. You've seen it from the Cubs with Anthony Rizzo and some other first
exactly
basemen.
what came to my mind.
Hamilton did that last night against New Bedford. That was the first time all season, but that's something that he's not afraid to do.
Dangerous play.
It's very dangerous, but that's something that he is not afraid to do and will continue to do if it's an obvious bunt situation. Obviously, the bunt's off here now with 2 strikes, though.
Sansone checks LaRusso at second as Weaver calls time. Waiting too long on Sansone to deliver the pitch. You said the bunt sign's got to be off. He's going to be swinging here. He singled and stole a base and then struck out into that double play result. In the 4th, Sansone checks LaRusso. The 0-2 to Weaver. Lined back into the screen. Just what Weaver did before going down looking in his last at-bat, just missing a fastball.
Yeah, fastball towards the top of the zone, and Weaver just getting underneath it. But he timed it up pretty decently there, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Sansone come back with the slider that we talked about.
Back foot slider or back door? What are we going?
Probably back foot, knowing he likes to work inside on righties a little bit as well.
The 0-2. There's the slider. Didn't get the movement on it he would have liked as Weaver lines another one back into the cage.
Looked like it was over the heart of the plate, so you might have tried to go back foot, but you're right, just didn't get the movement he wanted. So count still 0-2.
It was a flat slider that Weaver is going to wish he had back.
So now if you're Sansone, still 0-2. But you're going to have to cook up something
Could
special
try and
here.
Climb the ladder on Weaver maybe. Ball in the dirt is risky with 2 runners on. The 0-2 to Weaver. He keeps fighting. And
now what a fight from Weaver at the plate. I mean, 3 straight foul balls back into the screen. You have runners on first and second with no outs. But Weaver's had a single today. Bello, the next guy up's had a single today. Even the guy in the hole has had a single today in Jordan. So 3 potential.
All but 1 of the 9 guys in the lineup have reached base.
Right. All quality at-bats coming up for Danbury. All making it difficult right now for Sansone. And the pitch count slowly climbing as Weaver's battling at the plate.
LaRusso on second. Dubon on first. Another 0-2. Breaking ball, swing and a miss. Weaver runs down to first. Even though the drop third does not apply in the situation with first base occupied. And he goes down strikeout fashion.
And what a relief for
time.
Sansone finally on the 0-2, getting Weaver to go around and getting that strikeout. Now that sets up a double play, potentially get out of the jam.
That was the pitch he was looking to throw on the slider that stayed up and was fouled back.
As you see, we talk about risky to go in the dirt. That was just dropping out of the zone, though. It looked good, and Weaver couldn't hold back. But as I said, chance for a double play and Sansone to get out of the inning unharmed.
Bello, tough guy to double up. First pitch to him. Fastball taken up and out. Bello's been swinging a hot bat, and it continued today. He's got a single that he flared over Holzwasser's head at second. That was following the strike him out, throw him out double play. As Sansone takes his time on the mound. Doesn't work very quickly as he checks LaRusso, stares him down, gives him a second look, lifts and delivers the 1-0 to Bello, another fastball up.
Lacking that control that is typical of Sansone, usually just pounding the zone or the edges of the zone that pitchers want to work around, but today's been a little bit more sporadic, missing up, missing low, a little bit outside. Unable to really work inside consistently on batters as well.
2-0 to Bello, fastball on the outside corner. Bello thought that was a baseball or two outside. It's a called strike that's been there the majority of the evening. Here, as we're in the top of the sixth with one out. 5-3 is the score. The Gulls lead the Westerners. Sansone sets on the mound, stares down LaRusso at second. Big leg kick and delivers the 2-1. Fastball swung through by Bello. Count evens up at 2-2.
Yeah, and Sansone, we talked about struggling with control a little bit, fell behind 2-0 in this count, but battling back with two straight fastballs. Count now 2-2. So attacking Bello in this count, and with the 2-2 count, probably going to have to continue attacking with the hot bat and Bello, and the lineup's going to flip over, and it's not going to get any easier.
Bello a strikeout candidate. The 2-2 from Sansone, and he does just that. Climbs the ladder, and Bello goes chasing. So after the first two guys in the inning reach, two punch-outs for Michael Sansone as it's back to the top of the order and Justin Jordan.
And that's how dangerous Sansone can be on the mound. Two straight strikeouts for him, but a difficult matchup now at the plate in Justin Jordan, and it's a lefty. So working inside on guys, which is something he does so well, isn't going to work out for him because he doesn't typically throw inside on lefties as much.
First pitch to Jordan. Fastball off the outside part of the plate.
Now, luckily for Sansone, it's still a lefty-lefty matchup, so it's a little bit tougher for Jordan to pick him up, but what we focus on so much for Sansone is working in on the hands of righties and jamming them up.
Jordan crowds the plate.
And so if he works in on a lefty, might run the risk of hitting Jordan, or if he works outside, Jordan can extend his hands and put something into play.
Big cut on the fastball, and Jordan swings through it. One count on the Westerner center fielder, who's reached on an error, singled, and flew out to Cavalieri in left. Base hit here would be huge for Danbury, or getting on any way possible to extend the inning to guys like Zaffino and Dickerson. Jordan calls time as Sansone was taking his sweet time on the bump.
A little bit of a stalemate out there right now.
Sansone looks in. Agrees on a sign with Jones. Checks LaRusso. Big leg kick delivers. This one fisted foul by Jordan. 1-2 count. And Sansone on the verge of escaping this inning. That began with a Nick LaRusso single and an Isaiah Dubon walk. They're still at first and second, as Weaver and Bello have both gone down swinging. Jordan waves his bat over the plate. Sansone sets at the letters. Looks at the runners. Lifts and delivers. The 1-2 breaking ball in the dirt. Jordan lays off. That's a tough pitch to lay off as a left-handed batter. That big hook coming in.
Yeah, it really is, because it looks like it's going to be in the zone. As you say, big hook, and then it drops off the table a little bit into the dirt, and that's exactly what Sansone is looking for Jordan to chase. But smart batter at the plate, able to lay off. Count now even at 2.
The 2-2 pitch to Jordan. Soft ground ball to short. James on the run, bobbles it once and twice. It'll be an error on Austin James, the second time tonight that Justin Jordan has reached on an error. Each middle infielder is committed. 1 now for Newport as its bases loaded, and Matt Zaffino a chance to not only keep the inning going, tie the game, and potentially take the lead. It's 3 guys with decent speed on the base paths.
Well, we talked about it in Jordan's first plate appearance in the first inning, in his error that he reached on to Holzwasser. That's just another product of his speed out there. It's a softly hit ball. James was coming in, knew he had to rush the throw if he's going to make the play.
There's true potential that he even beats out that ground ball.
Certainly. And so James, knowing that he has to throw it quickly.
Zaffino, a big league pop-up behind home plate. Jones gives it a look as it's going to land right on top of us.
It's coming right for us.
Yeah,
there's no roof there.
I probably would have dropped it.
You know, I'm not too confident in my own abilities
That's
there.
a big league pop-up.
Right. I don't know if I'm able to track that well. But Jordan, I mean, showcasing his speed there, that's why James made that error, bobbling it, knowing that he's going to have to rush that throw. If you're Danbury, this is the time to strike. The meat of the order coming up. 2 away, bases loaded, though, down 2 runs.
Zaffino barreled the ball up in inning number 1, looking to do the same here. He's behind 0-1 as he swings at the slider, fouls it into the mitt of Hayden Jones. He's got 2 strikeouts on the day. .381 hitter out of Division III Hamilton College in upstate New York. Looking to make a splash here with the bases loaded. Sansone looks in for the 0-2. A lot of places he can go with this pitch. LaRusso on third, Dubon on second, Jordan on first. The 0-2 to Zaffino. Fastball above the eyes.
Right idea from Sansone on the 0-2. Fastball up just a little bit too far up.
Tried to change the eye level.
Making it a little too obvious that pitch was missing. Trying to get Zaffino to chase.
Probably going back to his bread and butter pitch in the slider. The 1-2 to Zaffino. There's the slider, swung over and missed. All Jones has to do is step on home plate to retire the side, so 3 runners on. Nobody crosses home plate, though, for the Westerners, as it's still 5-3, the Gulls on top. We head to the home half of the 6th on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Back here on the NECBL Broadcast Network, Jacob Kronberg alongside Stephen Huff. The voice of the Newport Gulls, Christian Allegretti, back out there for his second inning of work. It's 5-3. The Newport Gulls lead the Danbury Westerners as Walker leads things off for the Gulls.
As if you're watching us here on the NECBL Broadcast Network, you're seeing some sweet seats behind Deadaway Center.
Those are not for sale. Unless you're friends with the owner of that home.
Right. Set up a little table.
First 2 pitches out of the zone to Walker, 2-0.
Getting some free baseball. Now we've seen, on the warehouse in right field, and the house just past the warehouse.
Walker lines one into right field. Going to drop in front of Dickerson. And Walker's aboard to start the home half of the 6th.
We've seen some people getting some free baseball on top of the warehouse or the patio along the house next to the warehouse, but that was the first for a family setting up a table past Deadaway Center. And why not?
They deserve some free tickets. I'm sure that house is taking its fair share of baseballs off of it.
They nearly took one today from Justin Henry Malloy.
They may have. That ball is probably sitting in their picnic right now.
Right. Getting some free baseball, and literally a free baseball, some souvenir from Malloy.
Allegretti tosses over to first. Walker back in safely, a stolen base candidate. An outfielder from Michigan State is Austin James. Shortstop steps in. He committed that error on Justin Jordan's ground ball. As he pops one up at a play on the right field side. It'll make its way into the street near that patio.
Yeah, Walker on first, has 3 stolen bases on the year, but possesses a great deal of speed, especially with 2 runs. I wouldn't be surprised if the Gulls want to tack on a couple of insurance runs. Wouldn't be surprised to see him go soon.
Yeah, 1 slider in the dirt blocked by Juliana.
Of course, some of the challenges they face here, the lefty on the mound in Allegretti, keeping him a little bit closer at first.
He's got a good pickoff move as well. He's picked a couple of guys off this year.
Seems like he has a couple of variations of that move as well.
Slide step here, fastball low and away.
Makes it a little bit tougher to pick up on if you're running at first base. No runners for the Gulls have been picked off all season.
Walker has a decent-sized lead at first. Allegretti notices and throws over. He does have the variations of moves and likes to show them off. You'll see him throw over numerous times to any base runner that's got notable speed.
Gulls aren't afraid to run, though. Have 34 stolen bases on the year. Have only been caught 4 times. So they are a team that like to run, and when they do, it's at an efficient rate.
The Westerners run as well, but they've been thrown out well into the double digits of times. Fastball low and away, but a lot of those are designed caught stealings on the Little League play. First and third plays, so 4 or 5 times they've given up that out from first to second for a run to score.
And, you know, sometimes that is worth it. Trading an out for a run, especially in close games, it can really pay off for you.
The record will say it's worth it right now. 3-1 to James. Fastball on the inside corner. Count moves full. So Walker will take off on this pitch.
You can see James not happy about that one. I think that's a pitch he would like to have back. One you've seen, you know, letter high fastball. That's a pitch that he really loves to pull down the line or in the gap.
Walker doesn't take off on the 3-2 as James chops it foul. He had to be looking for one of the breaking balls that Allegretti has in his arsenal on that pitch.
You know, I think so because he's a fastball hitter.
That's a fastball middle in.
Yeah, and he's a guy, I mean, you look where Dubon is in left right now. That's where he usually hits doubles or home runs over in left.
Allegretti checks the runner again.
He's had a couple here at Cardines already this season, and all of them have come off the fastball.
Allegretti looks in for the sign, and another quick throw over to first on Walker.
Is that the 5th this time?
I believe that's the 5th, maybe even the 6th throw
Might be
over.
the 6th in this at bat.
Walker takes off, breaking ball up and out, and Austin James is aboard.
But that's something James is really good at as well. I know he watched on the fastball and wants that one back, but that's because he's really good at working walks. That's his 10th walk of the season, leading the team. Now leading the team. He was tied for a lead in the team. Now he leads it outright. And so sometimes he might be a little bit too conservative at the plate, but it's because he just wants to get on base by any means possible. And now there's runners on first and second as the lineup flips over for Scott Holzwasser, who hits at a .340 average for the Gulls.
He is 0 for 3 on the evening as he squares to bunt. Allegretti misses way wide. .1-0 count to Holzwasser. Was flown out to left, struck out, and grounded out to third. Bailey charging hard at first. Holzwasser takes a cut on the fastball, swings through it.
You see Bailey coming in expecting a bunt. The Gulls bunted a little bit at the beginning of the season. They haven't opted for much of a small ball game recently, probably over the past 2.5 weeks of the year.
Walker takes off for third. The throw from Uliana. Rather, he holds on to it.
So a double steal for the Gulls, and that's been something they've been doing recently. Yesterday in the game in New Bedford, they opted for the double steal in the first inning, and it worked out for them. And now it worked out for him here today as Zaid Walker takes third and James over at second. So 2 runners in scoring position for the Gulls as they look to extend their lead.
Infield moves in for Danbury as they trail 5-3. 2-1 count on Holzwasser. The pitch from Allegretti. Skied at a play. Another one that'll be a souvenir to a fan who isn't at the game. Count even up at 2-2 on Holzwasser.
Holzwasser, him and Bender on this team have a great two-strike approach. Just do anything to put the ball in play.
2-2. Fly ball to center field. Justin Jordan running in, makes the grab. Walker tags up. The throw on the line, which keeps Walker at third. And that's the best case scenario there for the Westerners.
A high pop-up into center. It looked like Jordan lost it for a second. It might have actually been a bluff to see if Zaid Walker would test it and just go, because it seemed like a lazy fly ball out there.
He's an outstanding defensive center fielder.
So it would be a little bit uncharacteristic for him to lose it, but it does happen from time to time. He's able to get it, and it was in shallow enough territory to keep everyone where they are for the goals.
Greg Cavalieri steps in, and he laces one into left field. That's going to run to the wall. It'll score 2 easily. Cavalieri around first into second with a stand-up double to make the lead 7-3 in favor of the Gulls.
Yeah, and that's what Greg Cavalieri has done all season. Lefty on righty matchup. The switch hitter gets to extend the arms about belt high and pulls that one into left field. Puts 2 more on the board for the Gulls. Now they're leading by 4 and have another runner in scoring position.
He's been on base 3 times tonight. Scored 2 runs, driven in 2 runs, has himself in scoring position. Right here, Bello waits in his pocket as he's got tremendous speed out there. First pitch to Chris Hamilton. He swings over a fastball.
That's what Kevin Winterroad loves about him. He can plug him at the bottom of the lineup and spark the top of it. He can plug him at the top of the lineup and spark the middle and the heart of the order. And here he does, brings up now Chris Hamilton and Vosick, some of the power guys for Newport.
Slider in the dirt. Gathered by Uliana, keeps Cavalieri put. If anyone knows the speed of Cavalieri, it is Sonny Uliana, his URI Rams teammate.
Every time Cavalieri's been involved, Uliana's had an extra sense of urgency out there.
He swings through a slider from Allegretti, falls behind 1-2. 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. The Gulls lead by 4 over the Westerners. Allegretti checks Cavalieri, Bello in his back pocket. The 1-2 in the dirt, blocked by Uliana. See, this is where it's kind of a benefit of being a team that shifts against Hamilton, where Bello is playing up the middle, and in most case scenarios when you're holding on the runner will hop out to that hole at shortstop. Here he's just staying put after that.
Yeah, Cavalieri, always being held on now. Still somewhat of a shift against Hamilton because of that, though, in an odd kind of shift.
2-2, swing and a miss. Strike 3, down goes Hamilton. Second out here in the 6th brings up Brett Vosick, who's hit the ball hard 3 times today, been on base twice, and driven in a pair of runs.
Now that will bring up Vosick at the plate, who's having himself a day. Still a runner in scoring position for the Gulls.
Takes the first pitch, fastball that dots the outside corner.
Allegretti not having a terrible day, it seems, finding his spots. Control you mentioned was an issue for him so far, but
this one a broken bat, flared to short. Bello fields, double clutches. The throw still in time at first to retire the side, but not before 2 more runs across the plate for the Gulls, who now lead 7-3. We'll be right back with the 7th inning here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Welcome back on the NECBL Broadcast Network. 7th inning here at Cardines Field, which means it's time for me to throw things back over to the voice of the Newport Gulls in Stephen Huff. Stephen, it's your call.
Thank you, Jacob. Top of the 7th as the Gulls lead the Westerners 7-3. And for Newport, there is a new pitcher on the mound. It's the UCLA righty, Mike Townsend, another excellent reliever so far for the Gulls on the season. Still hasn't given up a run through 2 appearances. Tonight will be his 3rd. He's pitched 3 1/3 innings pitched. Has just given up 1 hit, has not walked anybody, and has 5 strikeouts through those 3 1/3 innings pitched.
He's lights out. He was fantastic for the Bruins this spring, undefeated with a 1.85 earned run average, and that's on a team that lost in a super regional final to Michigan, who eventually went on to play in the College World Series finale. They fell to Vanderbilt, a team that Justin Henry Malloy is on. So a lot of connections through that. Townsend wasn't on the roster the first 2 times the Westerners and the Gulls faced off, but he's got great stuff.
Last year played for the Waterloo Bucks in the Northwoods Leagues, where he allowed 1 run or fewer in 5 of his 11 appearances. Improved a lot since then. Greg Zacharson, the pitching coach for the Gulls. I talked to him a little bit just about Townsend when he joined the team and after his first appearance against the Valley Blue Sox. And he said, this guy's no joke. He might have the best slider in the nation, and that's not an exaggeration. Fastball slider guy, kind of like Sansone, but you'll see the slider, and you'll see it a lot because it is something else. The first batter he will face is Noah Dickerson. First pitch swung on and missed. 0-1.
Stands really straight up.
He really
on the
does,
mound.
yeah. After his first appearance, he earned the nickname from that slider. They started calling him Slide Piece already. So you look at him out of the stretch, you're right, does stand straight up. Misses up and away with the fastball. 1-1.
He's got good velocity on the fastball, too. So that's really going to complement a slider that he can throw to both right-handers and left-handers. It's more of a wipe away to the righties. Lefties, he can run it back door on them.
Yeah, and I think that's something he already does an excellent job, especially against righties, wiping away, to use your phrase, but lefties working a little bit more inside on us. You see, he's working on the outside quite a bit to start here against the lefty. Pitch misses, or catches the outside edge, 1 and 2. But I think moving forward, we talk about how dominant Sansone can be working inside on guys. Townsend, the next step is starting to work inside on some guys. Now Townsend looking on the 1-2. Delivers a pitch, swung on and missed for strike 3. So first batter he faces goes down via a strikeout. And there's one away here in the 7th.
It's the 9th Westerner to strike out. Today, the 9th time they've gone down looking. We've only gotten through 6 1/3 innings, so 19 outs, 9 of them via the punch out for Gulls pitching.
So that will bring up Sonny Uliana, catcher tonight for the Westerners. It's 1 for 3 with a big double to his name. So has sacrifice fly, an RBI. That first pitch, there's the slider in there for strike 1.
That's likely going to be the best pitch Uliana sees in this at-bat. Slider stayed a little flat.
Did stay a little bit flat, and it was in the zone, pretty much in the middle. So you're right. I mean, that might be a pitch that Uliana wants back because that slider is a little bit sharper from Townsend. That fastball up and in. You could hear
the pop of the
mitt.
mitt.
I was just going to say, you could hear the pop from Jones' glove behind the plate. 1-1. It's usually the pop that you hear from Mackenzie Stills, a guy that can usually go around mid-90s.
And the guy the Westerners saw last time they were at Cardinals Field.
That 1-1 slider. Fishing low and away is Uliana. He's going to line it back up the middle into center, so he's aboard with a 1-out single.
All Uliana has done since the Westerners signed him is hit. Another multi-hit game for him. He's shown power. He showed power early, but lately he's shown the ability to be a hitter instead of just a big masher, is the way we like to describe it.
That truly is, a true hitter right there, going down and away, getting that ball that is moving away from you and just digging that out and putting it into center for a single. So that will bring up Vinny Bailey now, lefty from North Carolina Central. First pitch fastball misses, up 1-0.
Bailey's looked a little off tonight. He's gone down swinging twice and hit a soft ground ball to Hamilton at first. He needs to get back to his simple approach of trying to work the ball to left center field.
That pitch misses outside. 2-0. Townsend looking on. Righty on lefty matchup. Runner on first in Uliana. Gulls lead the Westerners 7-3 here at Cardines. This 2-0 is going to be flown into center. Walker going back. He seems to be underneath it. And he is for out number 2.
Bailey gets a decent piece of wood on that one, but dropped his back shoulder a little bit, which created more of a pop fly effect on it to Walker out in straightaway center.
So with that pop out to Walker in center, that will bring up Nick LaRusso. Villanova, third baseman. Although he's played a little bit of first, you said earlier this week. And now he's also a two-way player that can pitch for the Westerners. First pitch slider drops into the zone, 0-1.
That slider looked even curvish to me.
It can have a little bit more of a hook to it than you expect. Now the 0-1 comes back with it, chopped back into the screen 0-2. Now they haven't told me that he throw it. From what I know,
it could just be two different variations of his slider.
So they tell me he's just fastball slider guy, but sometimes it has a little bit more of a hook
Could be one of them
to it.
that he can throw a little bit of a tighter grip, the one that's going to break more to the side like a traditional slider, and sometimes he can loop it a little bit.
So I got to pick his mind a little bit because a lot of times even sliders and curves are the same grip. That's just depending on the release point of it as well.
Whether you throw it like a fastball or snap the wrist like a curveball.
Right, as that 0-2 swung on and missed. 4 strike 3, and that will end things here in the top of the 7th. Heading into the bottom of the 7th, the Gulls lead the Westerners 7-3 here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Here at Cardines, the Gulls lead the Westerners 7-3. Stephen Huff alongside the voice of the Danbury Westerners, Jacob Kronberg, and the field reporter of the Newport Gulls, Zach Letson. And there is a new pitcher on the mound for Danbury.
Yes, Tyler Penner, left-hander. I alluded to him earlier in the game when Campbell was in. He's the other guy in the pen with the big hook. He's a North Carolina Central guy along with Vinny Bailey. And he's adapted somewhat of the closer role for the Westerners this year. He's yet to allow an earned run. Pitched 8 innings, 4 strikeouts. Too many walks has been the issue. Walks about a batter an inning as well. Got a few innings out of the pen this year at North Carolina Central. Struggled in those, but he's been effective this summer. He's another guy who's going to try and drop that big hook in. Not quite as slow and large as the Justin Campbell one. It's a little sharper, and then he'll try and dot the fastball around it. Kind of pitches backwards on these guys. You're going to see the big hook more to the lefties than the righties, though.
So the first batter Penner will face on the mound is Justin Henry Malloy of Vanderbilt. 1 for 2 on the day. His first pitch misses up. Had a 3-run home run in his first plate appearance. Struck out looking in the 3rd and then walked his last time up in the 5th. Now this 1-0 misses in. Malloy backing up off the plate. 2-0. Tonight's attendance here at Cardines reached 2,155 fans strolling through the park as this 2-0 pitch drops out of the zone and low. 3-0. So it was a good turnout for Newport Craft Brewing and Distilling night.
Nice crowd here.
Beautiful night for baseball. This pitch misses inside. For ball 4, so second walk of the night for Justin Henry Malloy as he strolls down to first.
Penner had his first rough outing of the year last time out where he walked 3 guys, eventually was replaced, and the Westerners got out of that jam.
So now we're going to see a change at the plate, pinch hitter, and it's going to be Isaiah Thomas making his Newport debut. He's from Vanderbilt, a part of the Vanderbilt team that just won the College World Series, and this is his first plate appearance. He watches this first pitch miss inside for ball 1.
Yeah, he was a bench outfielder for the Commodores, but he hit .368 off the bench.
Yeah, he was a really good at-bat when they called upon him, kind of a rotational guy, backup outfielder for Vanderbilt. So this 1-0 pitch popped back into the screen. Now, I watched him in batting practice because this was the first time I saw him today. I didn't know that he was reporting today, and then I saw him out there. His bat speed, if you get to watch him, a couple more swings here today, Well, best I've seen so far out of any of the
368
Gulls.
as a freshman
Oh
at
my
Vanderbilt.
gosh.
He was on that third-team All-American team in high school with Justin Henry Malloy, and they went to Vanderbilt together.
Now that 1-1, that's the big hook you're talking about from Penner. It drops into the zone, 1 and 2.
A lot of these guys were multi-sport athletes in high school. It was a bit of a different sport for Taylor. Bowling.
Right.
He's a fantastic bowler.
Not your prototypical multi-sport athlete. Is that 1-2? Popped back up behind the plate. Uliana giving chase. Now hugging the fence, and it drops just out of play, nearly hitting Gianna, one of our interns here.
It's the next
at
Mookie
Newport.
Betts.
Yeah, Mookie Betts, of course, a perennial 300 bowler. Of course, we got a couple multi-sport athletes on the team. Peter Cerruto with football. Greg Cavalieri, taekwondo. Not your typical multi-sport athlete. Now this big hook misses low. Runner takes off for second to throw. In time as Malloy tried to avoid the tag with the pop-up slide, and he jumped around it. But able to apply the tag in time was Weaver.
Yeah, Greg Cavalieri has his Bowden belt in taekwondo, which is also for the red belt. It's the one step below the black belt, which is the highest you can get.
Between red and black. You see a great effort there from Malloy, but even better effort from Weaver there on the tag to stick with it. It's now the 2-2 to Thomas. Fastball missing low, count now full.
Yeah, the Westerners have a handful of guys who played football, like Lyndon Weaver and Caleb Upshaw. In high school, a couple basketball players, Eli Oliphant and Justin Campbell, guys who pitched tonight.
Now the 3-2 misses up for ball 4. So first plate appearance for Isaiah Thomas goes in the books as a walk. He's aboard first with one away here in the 7th.
Tonight's starter Oliphant played basketball in high school and almost had to miss his senior year baseball season because of an injury during basketball after a loss. He said his team lost to the worst team in the league. So he's in the locker room, turns around, sees the locker, and decides, I'm going to punch it. Mari Stoudemire style. Punched the locker and broke his hand.
Oh, man.
Was healthy enough to pitch his senior season, has gone on to have a great career at Fairfield.
Right, it's worked out for him, but not ideal, I'm sure. One of those where as soon as he did it, as this pitch to Bender in there for strike 1, as soon as he did it, probably regretted it, as his hand and probably whole arm stung immediately.
Jack McCarthy also played some basketball when he was younger, and he jokingly says the highlight of his athletic career is scoring 44 points in a JV basketball game.
That 0-1 swung on and missed at the top of the zone.
He said he had a triple-double in points, blocks, and rebounds. Got called up to varsity the next day, scored 4 points, and was like, I'm not very good.
Well, Isaiah Thomas, who's on first, great career and is at Vanderbilt now. He said his favorite memory was hitting 5 home runs when he was 12 years old.
Any chance that was at Cooperstown Dreams Park?
Yeah, it might have been. It's that 0-2 pitch missed up, 1-2. You grew up near him, I'm assuming?
I didn't grow up near him, but Cooperstown is a big tournament in upstate New York. It's about 3.5 hours outside the city, where they have a massive 12-year-old tournament every week throughout the summer. They have over 130-something teams who go and compete in a week-long tournament. I never played in it, but I went with my brother, and it's just outstanding.
You're very familiar with Justin Henry Malloy.
I am.
Because you grew up near him and saw him play in high school. Is this 1-2 curve, spikes in front of the plate. Nice block there from Uliana, 2-2.
Yeah, Malloy was a talented guy at St. Joe's Regional High School. He was one of those guys, I didn't know him personally, but by growing up in the area, you knew his name, and people went to watch him play, and everyone was like, so young, this guy's going to Vanderbilt, he's legit, and he really is. We've seen it here. He can play.
Now the 2-2 curve misses up. Count now full to Bender. Again, 2 pinch hitters in a row for the Gulls. Isaiah Thomas worked a walk, and now Bender at the plate pinch hitting for Hayden Jones. Likely take over the catching duties for the Gulls.
He played on a team, I remember. I can't remember the year. But the left side of the infield was him and a guy named Devin Ortiz, who went on to play at Virginia. So Virginia and Vanderbilt left side of the infield in high school.
Not too shabby there, huh? I'm sure that high school coach had good amount of job security after that one.
Well, I actually played at one of the rival high schools of Sonny Uliana, who played at Birkin Catholic, and then you've got Don Bosco Prep and Paramus Catholic, 4 schools that have sent a lot of baseball players to this league as well. as you make your way around a couple Don Bosco guys on the Ocean State Waves.
Now the payoff pitch to Bender, misses up, check swing. They're going to say he didn't go around. So three straight walks for Penner on the mound to start the 7th. I'll put runners on first and second for the Gulls as Walker is due up at the plate.
Walker singled, stole a base, and scored. That was just an inning ago.
Also worked a walk in his first plate appearance. He swings and lines this one back into the screen. 0-1. So Penner on the mound so far for Danbury. Struggling a little bit. Can't find his control here to start. We have seen just how good that curve can look as he misses up. 1-1. Lefty on righty matchup for Penner on the mound. Working from the third base side of the rubber. Time called at the plate as the pitch comes in from Penner. It missed up, but it won't count. Penner did not look happy on the mound. And understandably so. When your rhythm's messed up like that, it can be frustrating as a pitcher.
Yeah, he's had a tough inning as well, finding the zone.
So when things aren't going right, something like that can just add to the frustration. So now this pitch flown back into the screen from Walker. Count climbing up to 1-2 now.
You've got one out though. All it takes is a double play. All it takes is a ground ball double play here. You're out of the inning. Catch your breath a little bit. Walker is going to be a tough guy to double up, as this Gulls team is loaded with speed. Aside from maybe the 3-4-5 guys, everybody can run.
Now Penner delivers the 1-2. It's going to be grounded over to second, and Weaver boots it into left field. Rounding third is Thomas, and he's going to score easily. And so the single from Walker gives the Gulls their 8th run of the day, and there's runners on first and second now with one away.
Wheels starting to come off a little bit for the Westerners. It was a close game, 4-3 for a while. And then the Gulls have started to pick up. We've had the miscue defensively now, a lot of walks issued by the Westerners pitching, and they haven't been able to get anything going on the offensive side since inning number 2.
So now Austin James at the dish for the Newport Gulls. He's going to be swinging at this curve ball, and it's going to be fouled off of him at the plate. 0-1.
It's become a bullpen game for the Westerners, which was tough when you're sending out your number 1 in Eli Oliphant. Had to use Campbell, Allegretti, and Penner, 3 left-handed guys, 3 of the better pitchers on this team.
And when you think about everyone in the NECBL is kind of going through that thick bit of schedule with all the rainouts that everyone's had, as this one's going to be off his hands and over to second. Weaver boots this one. And rounding third is Bender heading to the plate. He's going to be tagged out. Bender thinks he got his hand in time. He's complaining to the home plate umpire, but now goes back to the plate.
We've got a great angle on it. He was out.
It seemed like he was out to us.
Uliana laid the tag down on his shoulder. Nice job by Bello to go over there. We talked about some of his acrobatic plays earlier in this broadcast. Goes over on a ball that was booted by the second baseman. Does a little pop-up slide while picking up the ground ball and fires a strike home to Uliana.
Well, moving up to third on the play was Zaid Walker. So there's runners on the corners for the Gulls. That first pitch misses up and away.
So it's 2 baseballs in a row hitting Lyndon Weaver's direction. One of them scorched for a base hit that he nearly had a play on, and that one just a soft ground ball that he bobbled.
Now runner takes off for second. Throw down. Gets away from Weaver. Walker comes in to score, adding another to the Gulls tally. Is moving up to third on the play is James. So that's another score for the Gulls. And a tough break for the Westerners.
Yeah, tough hop there. Yeah, Uliana threw a seed to throw out Justin Henry Malloy earlier this inning. That throw kind of got locked in his hand a little bit. Hopped over Weaver's glove and allows James to move all the way to third.
So runner on third now for the Gulls with 2 away. As they lead the Westerners now, 9-3. Holzwasser at the dish, chops it foul.
All this offense today at Scott Holzwasser, who's hitting .340, hitless.
Yeah, I mean, usually he's the catalyst for the Gulls' success at the plate, but struggling today. He's a guy that you think would be due for a hit, but it just seemingly hasn't gone his way here tonight.
When you help carry a team for so long, you have an off day, your team picks you up. There's nothing better than that.
Now he's going to line this one into left. He was due for a hit, and he gets one here. He's going to drive in James. Gulls now lead Danbury 10-3. And when the season is just going your way, even on an off night, sometimes the barrel finds the ball and it can land your way.
As Josh Parrow's going to go out to Tyler Penner and make a call to the pen. Not even a visit from Pat O'Neill prior to the pull, and another call to the bullpen.
So we will have more information on that new Westerners pitcher coming up in a minute here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. New pitcher on the mound for Danbury as Newport leads the Westerners 10-3.
It's Antonio Velarde from Iona College, the 5th arm of the day for Danbury. Wears number 9, and he's had a tough season to say the least. His earned run average, only 4 innings of work, is tough for me to even to say at 20.25. Not 2.25, 20.25. So he's struggled. He had a couple tough outings where he's gone in, given up some runs, and not recorded an out. One of those against Mystic, and then one of those against New Bedford. So it's been tough for Velarde. He struggled with his command.
Not exactly what he would have wanted into this season. But if you are Velarde on the mound, the one thing that you could take from it is at least he's put into this situation where 7-run deficit, so it's not a high-pressure situation. He can come into this one with a little bit longer of a leash as this first pitch to Cavalieri misses up and away for ball 1. Velarde looking on. Pitch misses up once again. 2-0. Again, runner on first in Holzwasser with 2 away here in the bottom of the 7th. Now the 2-0. Pop back into the screen, 2-1. So if you're Velarde, you're down 7 runs. You're not put into a high-pressure situation. It's a chance to get things going straight this season for him. You can start in this inning, get 1 out, and then go from there.
That's what you hope to do, but you can look at it the other way, and it's been such a struggle all day for the Westerners that the trend may continue, and it's really started with Velarde, and he's not been able to find the zone. He walks guys, and then he's like, all right, I'm in desperate need of a strike, and he grooves some pitches.
So 2-1 missed up, 3-1. Now the 3-1 misses outside, so he does walk the first batter he faces in Greg Cavalieri. Now there's runners on first and second for the Gulls.
And Chris Hamilton, a guy who just demolishes right-handed pitching.
Yeah, Chris Hamilton, one of the bats that has been excellent all season for the Gulls, coming into this one with a .295 average, but 5 doubles and 1 home run. And he can have that power down the line and right, but it can also have some power to the opposite side of the field. Against Ocean State, had his 1 home run on the year, sneaking in that foul pole at left field as that first pitch from Velarde misses up. So Velarde, every pitch so far from him has missed up. A lot of it up and away. Now this pitch missing up once again. So 6 straight balls from the righty out of the bullpen.
This is what we've seen from him throughout his outings this year. He closed the second game of the season for the Westerners against New Bedford. It looked really good, and it's just been tough ever since. Everything, as you said, is missed up and away. And then when he finally gets stuff low enough, it's sitting middle of the plate, fat right at the belt for these guys, and they're not going to miss that pitch.
That pitch, 2-0 pitch missed up and away once again. Count now 3-0. He has a good fastball, a lot of velocity on it as that pitch misses up once again. That one a little bit closer, but still ball 4. So bases now loaded for the Gulls. That will bring up the lefty power hitter from the University of Kansas, Brett Vosick. Vosick on the day, 2 for 4, had an RBI single in the first where he came around the score, and then later, big RBI double that was nearly a home run.
Yeah, he had the hardest hit ball of the day.
Now this first pitch, there's a strike from Velarde. Vosick was taking the whole way. Righty on lefty matchup for Velarde on the mound, shaking off Uliana behind the plate. Now they agree. Now the 0-1. This looks like a slider that was in the zone.
So I remember you
taking
said
again.
You're from the same town as Vosick,
Yeah,
correct?
we went to, I know the high school he went to, and I'm a year above him, so we know a lot of the same guys. I actually played ball with some of the guys he
So
knows.
was it similar to like me growing up? Justin Henry Moore was a year below me. You kind of knew about him. There was a buzz
Yeah.
around him in
Everyone, you know,
Omaha.
a lot of people knew his name. That 0-2 pitch is going to be chopped over to second to Weaver. He throws to first in time. We could talk more about Vosick in a little bit, but there's retired the side here in the 7th, but 3-run score for the Gulls as they now lead Danbury by a score of 10-3 here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Top of the 8th here at Cardines. Stephen Huff alongside the voice of the Danbury Westerners, Jacob Kronberg, and the field reporter of the Newport Gulls, Zach Letzin, as the Gulls lead the Westerners by a score of 10-3. Still Mike Townsend on the mound for the Gulls. He'll be facing off against Isaiah Dubon for the Westerners. First pitch to Dubon. Fastball in there for strike 1.
So we're talking about Vosick come the end of the inning. There's kind of a buzz around him. I mean, he was the number 3 rated player in all of Nebraska in his class.
Yeah, I mean, he was a star coming out of high school. And it's interesting because he went to Creighton Prep. Them and Westside were 2 big high schools that really just pump out talented baseball players. And so him and there was the Waldron twins, who I grew up with, that went on to play at Nebraska. As that 0-1 pitch is going to be popped out of play, kind of 0-2. Those were kind of the buzz around Nebraska and Creighton Prep and Westside. Typically, those were the 2 teams that went on to have, you know, those great battles in high school that everyone talks about around the state. And so it was really just the Waldrons and a couple of other guys on the Westside team, and then Brett Vosick. And it's interesting because Brett Vosick, his dad, he was coached by his dad up until high school. As this 0-2 slider swung on and missed for strike 3. Third strikeout of the day for Townsend on the mound. He was coached by his dad up until high school, I believe. And Creighton Prep was an adjustment to him. And he did well there at Creighton Prep, obviously coming out as one of the top prospects in Nebraska. But his dad was an all-Big 8 player at Nebraska. Mother played softball at Nebraska. And so Vosick went on to play baseball at Kansas. Great Division I program. Obviously, if you're getting Division I offers, you're one of the top players in the nation.
Power 5 in the Big 12 now.
Right. And so he's done an excellent job there.
He was first team All-Nebraska statewide.
Right.
Coming out.
And it's interesting because Vosick and I have talked about guys that we knew this one's going to be lined into left. Oncoming diving play from Cavalieri for out number 2.
What a catch. We talked about his defense earlier today, him and Holzwasser, the 2 star-studded defensive guys in this team, and they showed it off right here. I feel like every time I come here, Greg Cavalier's making a diving play somewhere, whether it's down the line,
he always has
coming
something
in on a bleeder
to top himself with. But Vosick plays for Kansas, and 2 years ago I was with a summer ball team in Colorado. And on that team was a guy named Skylar Messenger, who was kind of that guy coming out of Colorado in high school as this pitch misses low ball 1. That everyone, he was another one of those guys, the Vosick, the Henry Malloy, that everyone just kind of knew. That star of the town. And Messenger is now at Kansas, and so I've actually talked to Vosick about how Messenger is doing and his success, because now he's one of the top 3-4 hitters on the Kansas team. So a small world that Vosick and I are from Omaha, Nebraska. We end up on the same summer ball team, but then we actually know some of the same guys on the Kansas team as well.
Can't say that really happened for me on the Westerners.
This 2-0 line back into the screen, 2-1.
There were a couple of guys that I was familiar with. Ryan Brigman was on the team to start the year from John Jay Crossover. I saw him pitch in high school. Like you said, I've seen him. I actually saw Greg Cavalieri in high school a little bit. Him at Mayapec. High school just about 40 minutes from where I grew up.
Townsend looking on to Bello. Delivers 2-1. Going to be grounded to Malloy at third. Diving and throwing to first in time for out number 3. So 3 up, 3 down for the Westerners in the 8th. Heading into the bottom of the 8th. Goals still lead 10-3 here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Bottom of the 8th here at Cardines. Stephen Huff alongside the voice of the Danbury Westerners, Jacob Kronberg, and the field reporter of the Newport Gulls, Zach Letson. And since it's the bottom of the 8th, let's send it over to Zach Letson and catch us up on some of the games around the NECBL.
Well, thank you, Stephen. Every game tonight has gone final except for one other game, the Winnipesaukee Muskrats putting the finishing touches on, get ready for this, a 17-2 win over the Sanford Mainers. Other games across the league, the Mystic Schooners beat the New Bedford Baysox 3-2. Martha's Vineyard coming out on top against the Ocean State Waves 7-6 in Game 2 of the doubleheader, and the Vermont Mountaineers topping the Valley Blue Sox 8-4.
I could be wrong, but 17 might be the most runs in a game that I can recall this year in the NECBL.
I absolutely could be, and I mean to start it up with a 9-run first inning, really setting the tone.
The Westerners had 16 against the Steeple Cats.
Is this 1-0 in there?
It's certainly, it's
first strike one.
One of the more impressive showings offensively of any team in the NECBL this season.
Yeah, I can't remember. I think the most the goals have scored is an 11 run outing, and they've done it twice.
The Westerners have been in double digits 5 or 6 times.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have a star-studded lineup, it seems, every time you guys roll out. Is that 1-1 misses low and away?
Held in check by the Gulls pitching today. A great combination of Jordan Marks, Michael Sansone, and Mike Townsend.
Just 2-1 slider in there, 2-2.
So you're an Omaha guy. Obviously, the College World Series is out there. We got a couple of guys on this game. One
Henry
of them checked
Malloy
in
from Vanderbilt, but Isaiah Thomas on deck. He just won the College World Series in Omaha.
And one of the newer Westerners, Cam Masterman from Louisville.
This 2-2 is going to be chopped over to Bello. A short, tough hop, and he can't handle it as it trickles into center field. Malloy thinking about 2. He's going to head over there. Now he's going to charge back to first. So he's aboard first with a single. It was a tough play. One of those short hops that Bello, you're taught to charge when it's a big hop like that, and so he did, but still had to field it off the short hop as it came up quickly on him, and so I can't really blame Bello on that one.
So we've got 2 guys who were there in Omaha,
right?
And Isaiah Taylor and Cam Masterman. They actually faced off. Masterman didn't get any at-bats when he was there, but he was on the roster for the Cardinals, his first year of eligibility.
Now this first pitch fastball grounded back up the middle. Bello can't field it behind the bag. And so runners on first and second now for the Gulls.
That'll be a single as well, as Bello had to try and make a sliding effort on it. No guarantee that he can get either out there with the speed of Taylor.
Tough 2 plays for Bello, but you have to give him credit. At least some of the middle infielders, whether it's Bello or Weaver behind the bag, knock it down so Malloy stays at second, doesn't advance to third.
So have you ever been to the College World Series living in Omaha?
Just about every summer I make it out to at least a couple games. You can have a book, they call it, of general admission tickets. That's the outfield seats in the College World Series. That's where they say left field sucks or right field sucks, depending on where you are. They throw the beach balls out there.
I've always wanted to go. I've never really been to the Midwest for more than like a weekend.
This first pitch is swung on and missed from Bender. Of course, they put the beach balls on the string and they throw them onto the field, and the security comes out to grab them, and then you pull them away. Outfield is certainly a treat if you don't care as much about the ball game and you want the atmosphere. But if you want to watch the ball game, then you go and pay more for seats, because I think general admission seats in the outfield is that one pitch misses low and away, 1-1, only $8. And so I mean, you could go for a day, 2 games if you want. And you're under 20 bucks, and you're having yourself a fun time out there.
There was a great College World Series this year.
Now this one swung on and missed.
You've got a historic program in Vanderbilt.
We've seen them plenty of times.
And then Michigan, who was one of the last teams to get into the field.
Right.
Made it all the way to the final. They hadn't lost until they ran into the Commodores, who ended up beating them in games 2 and 3. Big thanks to Kumar Rocker for them, who was just as a freshman, he was tearing things up.
I mean, he's an incredible pitcher. Now the 1-2 to Bender, swung on and missed for strike 3. That's one away here in the 8th.
Not a lot of offensive productivity out of the catcher spots.
Not tonight.
5 at-bats between Hayden Jones and Colton Bender. 4 strikeouts and a walk.
Back in Omaha, I saw Dansby Swanson when he played for Vanderbilt. Is this first pitch to Walker over the heart of the plate, 0-1.
We may have been too young, but how about the David Price team?
Right. There's a couple of, I know, Zach, you're from Miami. We talked about the other day how many good Miami teams rolled through back in their heyday.
That's right, and as a diehard Miami Hurricanes fan growing up, Omaha is certainly on the bucket list.
That 0-1 catches the bottom edge of the zone, 0-2. Of course, that was back in the Rosenblatt days before they switched parks.
I'm a Mets guy, so Pete Alonso coming there with Florida is a big one. Michael Conforto with Oregon State.
Oregon State, and Florida. I mean, they're there just about every single year. Now Velarde.
Ironically, both of them left out this year.
Right. But every other year, I mean, they're the blue bloods of college baseball, it seems. So that 0-2 lined back into the screen sharply.
Jack McCarthy on the Westerners actually spent his freshman season at Oregon State.
I remember you mentioning that a couple broadcasts ago. And he was with Rutschman.
Yes, Rutschman's roommate.
Not too shabby
who just broke
the time he's having.
Broke the signing record for a number 1 overall pick at $8.1 million.
Where do I sign up for that? That swung on and missed from Walker. 2 straight strikeouts for Velarde on the mound.
Velarde's found a bit of a groove now. You see he's a little fired up, amped up. He's a high-energy, high-octane guy, whether he's playing baseball or not. I've had the opportunity to spend some time with him, whether it be on the bus or just hanging out at the ballpark, and he's always moving around. He's a lighthearted guy, and it's nice to see him finding some success back on the mound with this outing.
Now with 2 on and 2 away here in the bottom of the 8th, that will bring up Boston James. First pitch slider misses in, 1-0. So I think we have some fireworks going on behind us. Of course, 4th of July coming up this week, so festivities happening a little bit earlier here in Newport.
Thought it was thunder at first.
This 1-0 slider misses low, 2-0. Now I wonder, from where you guys are in the New England area in Miami, if you would like to speak on it, Zach, are you able to have fireworks a little bit earlier within the 4th of July week? Because where I'm from.
Are we able to, or do we?
You're not supposed to, especially, as the wildfires picked up, especially in the Colorado area. Fireworks aren't really sold anywhere. That 2-0 pitch is going to be flown into shallow center. Bello going back, and he's underneath it for out number 3. So we'll have more 4th of July talks in a little bit as we head into the 9th. But no runs crossed for the Gulls in the bottom of the 8th. Heading into the 9th, the Gulls lead 10-3 here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. The Westerners are down to their final 3 outs, and the Gulls turn to the bullpen to get those 3 outs. And it's Carson Rudd, the righty from Stanford, making his 3rd appearance on the year. Through 3 innings pitched, he still hasn't given up a run, hasn't given up a hit. He has walked 4, and he's also struck out 4. He relieves Mike Townsend, who came in for 2 innings of relief, gave up just 1 hit, did not give up a run or a walk, and he struck out 3.
The Gulls have used their A-plus arms tonight. Michael Sansone, who's been electric. Then you go to Mike Townsend from UCLA. And now you bring in the Stanford Cardinal, who had a great year out of the bullpen for them, as you said. California guy stayed out in California for school and has somehow ended up in Newport, Rhode Island for the summer.
There are 4 guys on the Gulls roster out of their bullpen that have not given up a run all year, and they brought in 3 of them here tonight against the Westerners. Now we left off the bottom of the 8th talking about fireworks. And Zach, you said something interesting during the break.
Well, being from Miami, I mean, there really aren't any rules. You can, look outside the school. It's a Monday morning. You might see some fireworks just because, Miami, it's the magic city, as it's called. It's really a city where you really don't know what to expect, even when it comes to fireworks.
That's incredible.
I can vouch for that after spending a couple days there this summer.
That's his first pitch to Justin Jordan. Righty on lefty matchup fouled off.
Yeah, in New York, I'm pretty sure you need a permit.
Yeah,
I've never been the guy who's gone out and gotten fireworks or set them off, but I know people who have. One of my neighbors used to have a real nice fireworks show on the 4th of July every year when we were younger.
Now this one going to be chopped over to James at short. He throws the first high throw, but Hamilton able to reel it in for out number 1.
And that's where being 6'2" is going to help with that reach on the throw from James.
Hamilton, of course, a soccer star as well, and so not afraid to go up for the ball if he has to. A nice athlete.
Yeah, he's a opposite Section 1 guy in New York. He's a Section 2 guy at Schenectady. 66 goals. That's the New York record. I still can't get over it. When I saw that coming the first time we came, I was like, what is this guy doing on the baseball diamond?
I asked him about it on the bus, and he just started laughing. He's like, yeah, what can I say? Like, it just happened. Yeah, and I was like, what do you mean it just happened?
I just happened to score 3 goals a game for an entire year.
Yeah.
No biggie.
First pitch from Rudd, misses outside. I asked him if he missed soccer, and he said, yeah, I miss it a lot, but he loves baseball more, and that's why he chose it.
Well, it's hard to compare because one's at the collegiate level, so obviously it's more impressive. But 66 goals in a soccer season are bat 325.
I mean, geez. Both are just incredible.
I could only imagine being so good at 2 sports.
Yeah, can't imagine being good at 1. This is 2-0, misses low and away, 3-0.
I was trying to give us some credit.
I appreciate it. Rudd now working on Zaffino, 3-0. Fastball over the heart of the plate, 3-1.
As Zaffino hit a rope in that first inning that twisted up, Walker in center field has since gone down swinging 3 times. He's had a tough day since that first inning. It really has the entire Westerners lineup.
Now the 3-1 fastball catching the bottom edge of the zone. Zaffino thought he was aboard first on a walk. He'll come back. Full count.
I learned something about Matt Zaffino today. So he played at Fairfield Prep, which is about 40 minutes from Danbury in high school. He actually only played 1 year of varsity baseball in high school.
Now this 3-2 is going to be grounded over to Holzwasser at second. He throws the first in time for.
He did not make the varsity roster as a junior in high school. Made it as a senior and hit .488. Went on to play at Hamilton and win Rookie of the Year in his conference. Bat 300 plus in each of his 2 seasons, and now he's hitting, only 360 in the number 2.
Wow.
Collegiate Summer League in the country rated per the Summer Baseball Register. And actually, I believe both our teams made the top 25 for the Week 1 rankings.
Both of them did.
5 teams from the NECBL. I think Mystic was number 6, North Adams at 8, and Danbury at number 10 were the top 10 teams who made it.
Newport cracked the top 25 at 21, and Upper Valley rounded out the top 25.
So nice showing here for the NECBL, as they had the most teams make the list aside from the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Rudd fires one in there, 1-1. Yeah, it is a fantastic showing and an even balance, as even as you can get with 5 teams from the South and Northern Division.
We've seen a bunch of guys come from the Cape Cod League down here. This is that next step when they're released from their temp contracts, but 9 of the top 10 was made up from the Cape Cod League and the NECBL here. So kudos to the NECBL.
Now 1-2 to Dickerson. Westerners down to their last strike. Rudd looking on out of the windup. Delivers a 1-2. It's going to be lined back up to Holzwasser, and he makes a diving play to end things here at Cardine. So the Gulls get their 11th win of the season by a score of 10-3. Don't go anywhere, folks, though. Post-game show coming up in just a minute here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. So the Gulls win tonight, picking up their 11th win of the season. They're now standing 11-6 on the year, while the Danbury Westerners dropped to 12-5 as the Gulls won by a score of 10-3. And it started in the first inning for both teams. Danbury put 2 on the board, then the Gulls answered back with 4 runs, and they really didn't look back. I mean, they were powered by the bat of Justin Henry Malloy, but you look at the scorebook, a lot of walks on the day for the Gulls. They drew, counting it up, 9 walks on the day. and that was a big part, of course, compounded with timely hitting and some power bats. We mentioned Justin Henry, Malloy, Brett Bosick with the double.
11 guys batted today for the Gulls. 10 of them reached base. The only one not was Hayden Jones, who came out after 3 at-bats. But an outstanding offensive output. You go back to the first inning. You said the Westerners scored the first 2 of the game, and then 9 of the next 11 runs scored, or actually 10 of the next 11 runs scored, were via the Newport Gulls. So an outstanding day for them. Justin Henry Malloy reached base 4 times. We were talking a little between break. He's the player of the game here tonight. He had that big home run in inning number 1, preceded that with 2 walks, a single. He was caught stealing and that strikeout looking, but a great day for him as he's upped his game here for the Gulls over the last couple weeks.
And then, of course, the pitching for the Gulls started off with Jordan Marks, who looked a little bit shaky in the first, sporadic with some of the hits that he gave up as well, but settled into somewhat of a group. But then you mentioned how they brought in really their ace relievers to shut down the game. That's what they like to do in some of these big games. Mike Sansone came in for 1 innings pitched, gave up just 1 hit, no runs, gave up a walk while striking out 3. Townsend came in for 2 innings pitched, gave up just a walk while striking out 3. And Carson Rudd came in for a flawless 9th inning. So a really strong bullpen performance from Newport as well. On the other side of things, Eli Oliphant, not the outing you want from him as a starter. We talked about some silver linings for him, but if you're looking at some silver linings, though, Justin Campbell, excellent performance from him.
Fantastic out of the pen for a starter. He was great for 3 innings, didn't allow a hit. The other arms that pitched today weren't too stellar. Velarde ended up picking things up. Allegretti had an okay outing out of the pen. But things it was hard to come back after a 4-run first inning. They look to bounce back tomorrow, though, do the Westerners. They're back at home to take on the Mystic Schooners. They fell to 12-5 today, so they're 1 game ahead of the Gulls in the Southern Division leads. Which means we'll be in for an interesting doubleheader next week.
Yes, sir, in Danbury.
In Danbury,
and
a doubleheader on July 9th.
Will that round out? Then we have a game at the end of July that will round out our 6-game
Yeah, we'll come
stretch.
up here one more time.
Yeah, but things are heating up here in the NECBL as the Newport Gulls take Game 3 between the Gulls and Westerners by a score of 10-3. I'm going to let Jacob Kronberg off the hook. I know you got a lengthy bus ride back to Danbury and then a drive back home as well. So
appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us here. It's always a pleasure having you.
Thank you for having me, Stephen.
For Jacob Kronberg, I'm Stephen Huff. I'm going to go find Justin Henry Malloy, tonight's player of the game. I'm going to send it over to Zach Letson and John Perrick for tonight's post-game recap. Zach, take it away.
Well, thank you, Stephen. The Gulls picking up win number 11, inching closer to first place in the Southern Division. With a 10-3 win tonight over the Danbury Westerners, really a complete game effort for the Newport Gulls. Jordan Marks picking up the win as I'm joined here by Director of Marketing for the Newport Gulls, John Perrick. And John, I'm joined now by Director of Marketing for the Newport Gulls, John Perrick. And John, just talking to the listeners about how this was really a complete game effort from the Gulls. You get 5 solid innings out of USC upstate starter Jordan Marks. And really, as you look across the board, 7 of the 9 starters for the Gulls picking up hits. So really a complete game effort.
No, it was very satisfying as well. When you look back at Newport's last 3 games, they had that humongous comeback victory against Winnipesaukee where Ryan Tours came through in the clutch, and then Tours again against Mystic, and then last night in what was just a disaster of a game at New Bedford, a game where Newport should have won and they were unable to do it. They just did not have anything working for them. So tonight, to come out here, have a complete game against Danbury, a team who is in the hunt for that Fave Vincent Cup this year, and that will not change as the season goes on. It is very satisfying to see them do so.
And you mentioned it, a huge bounce back when New Bedford, a team that plays well at home, and Newport unable to get the job done last night, but showing that they're a complete team, even though Ryan Tours coming up with those huge clutch hits in those last 2 wins. But tonight, can't really point to just one player that did the entire job. It was really a complete game effort. As you look across the board, Brett Vosick with a couple big hits, and Justin Henry Malloy with that huge 3-run homer to get the scoring started for the Gulls in the first inning.
Exactly. If I was going to point it down to one play, it was Malloy's home run because it set the tone for the rest of the game. Really did.
It really did. And as we look across, who the Gulls threw in the game, obviously, as we mentioned, Jordan Marks from USC Upstate picking up the win, 5 innings pitched. But then the Gulls, Coach Winterode throwing their best arms in the bullpen, Mike Sansone, who has been outstanding this season, still remarkable. He hasn't given up a run all year, pitching over 11 innings on the season. Followed by UCLA pitcher Mike Townsend, in for 2 innings, didn't allow a run, and Carson Rudd to shut the door on things for the night.
No, and you're absolutely right. It was good to see the bullpen ending it for Newport. And you look at Sansone. Sansone got into a little difficult situation. First and second, nobody out. How did he follow it up? 3 straight strikeouts.
And we're going to send it down now to Stephen Huff with Justin Henry Malloy, tonight's player of the game.
All right, I'm here with tonight's player of the game, Justin Henry Malloy, and obviously had a great night tonight all around, but it wouldn't be a proper post-game show if I didn't talk about that 3-run home run you had. Talk to me a little bit about your approach.
It's kind of been, right center. I feel like I've been seeing the ball well as of late, but just kind of taking it pitch by pitch, at bat by at bat. Just trying to, put a good piece on the ball every time I'm up. So thankfully today it worked out well, and, great team win.
We knew you had a smooth swing. We knew you had some power in your swing, but not like that out there.
Yeah, I didn't think I had juice like that, honestly. But, it ended up, playing today. Honestly, I don't have juice like that. So, but hopefully, it plays sometime again soon. So.
You also work 2 walks, and you've been able to work walks at the plate at a high rate this season. So it's not just power out there. You also are a very disciplined batter. Talk about how important that is for you at the plate.
It's just grinding out ABs. It's just being able to just see pitches, recognize, and just, get a good piece when you can and get a good pitch. So that's important. I feel like that's a big key to hitting, and I feel like that's been a key to my success as of late.
Talk about a little bit about your transition from spring ball now to your time at Newport and how you've developed as a hitter here as a Gull.
Well, for sure. I mean, the transition from BB core to wood is a little bit, not difficult, but obviously it's different. Everyone has to go through it here. It obviously takes some time. It took me a little bit of time, but, thankfully I'm finding it now, and, hopefully we keep things going.
All right, thank you. Nice work out there tonight. Justin Henry Malloy, tonight's player of the game. Back up to you in the booth, Zach.
Continuing to look around the NECBL, it really was a huge win for Newport tonight, moving just a game out of first place. Danbury obviously holding first place with 3 matchups left this season against Danbury. Those are going to be some huge matchups as we look forward, John.
No, they absolutely will. And really, when you talk about huge matchups, I'm just looking at tomorrow and Wednesday. Tomorrow, Newport needs to go over to Wakefield to take on the Ocean State Waves. That's going to be a big game in itself. And then Wednesday, a day-night double dip against the Martha's Vineyard Sharks. That should be a big deciding day for this Newport team.
Yeah, it's going to be a huge week for Newport, obviously getting the month of July started on the right note. And now we're going to send it down to Stephen Huff to conclude tonight's broadcast.
So the Gulls won tonight over the Westerners by a score of 10-3, and we'll be back in action tomorrow against Ocean State on the road, and we'll be back in action in Cardines with a doubleheader against Martha's Vineyard on Wednesday. For tonight, we'd like to thank our executive producer and director, Tom Lima, producer Shannon Carlson, on-site engineer Nick Bello, camera operator Shayna Wintraub and Arthur Smith, social media coordinators John Samino, statistician Michael Garman, field reporter Zach Letson, and the voice of the Danbury Westerners, Jacob Kronberg. I'm Stephen Huff saying good night from the city by the sea.